What's up, guys? Thanks for joining us here on the Be Better podcast. This is episode 9 with a good friend of mine, Derek Cuccio. Derek, thanks so much for being here.
Hey, thanks for having me, man. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely, brother. We've actually been trying to make this happen for a couple weeks. We both had some weird things pop up, so I'm really excited for you to be here, man. So how's everything going so far?
Everything's going great. Just got back from a couple trips. Been doing some photo shoots with my amazing girlfriend over in Virginia Beach.
Excellent.
And just got over a bout of COVID. So
Yeah.
happy I'm able to get out of the house and do this. So
Out of the quarantine zone, man.
yeah, and you're finally back from your honeymoon. How was that?
It was a good time, man. 10 days at Disney is not only a financial burden, but it is it's a long time to be away. So we're happy to be back. We had a good time. I think we saw every inch of Disney possible. So, it's cool, man. But it's all
Pictures
good.
look like that, man.
Yeah.
I'm jealous.
Yeah, we had a good time, man. But once again, if you do plan on going to Disney for 10 days, my wife, she's actually really detail oriented, as you know, Celeste is. So we had like pretty much a game plan for every day. Have a game plan for every day. Make it structured, and that way you're able to mitigate cost of like randomness, but also too you're able to see everything. So like she had an agenda of everything she wanted to do. And I'm pretty confident we did everything,
That's awesome.
Going into there, just like a business, just like your life, just like your exercise, just like your money, have a plan.
That's actually really smart because
Yeah.
I mean I know it can be overwhelming, especially gone for 10 days. I mean that's awesome. But
Yeah, man, it was wild. But anyways, for those of you guys out there that don't know, Derek actually has his own social media platform and things that he runs with as well. I would actually, the first time we've ever talked about it actually, other than Snap and me saying, dude, that's fucking sweet, Tell me a little bit more about kind of your mission behind that, what you do, what you like to do, kind of your targets, and who your audience is.
well, the reason I got into it was really I was bored going to the same places. I was trying to find dates for Jane and I, and going to the same Pink Galleon or Rudon. The norm gets boring after a while.
Right.
So I'm trying to switch it up, trying to step outside. I'm taking the risk of helping people discover new places and, hoping them open their eyes, saying, hey, there's something more out there than your just 5-minute away restaurant, 10-minute away restaurant. Yes, you have to go downtown, but it's going to be worth the experience. I'm all about new experiences. I mean, I love traveling, so I love opening myself up to different cultures, ethnicities. I like to think I'm very eclectic, so trying every aspect of every food. I mean, I've had blood pudding, I've had cow tongue in the Amazon rainforest, so I'm not afraid to try and take the risk for other people, and that's what I feel like some people are afraid to do.
Yeah, man, for sure. So whenever I was growing up, I watched the show. This reminds me of this. Was Bizarre Foods with Andrew Zimmerman. You ever seen that?
Yeah.
Dude, that guy and Anthony Bourdain, his show. Can't remember what his show was called. But,
It was
No Reservations.
yeah, No Reservations.
Oh, dude.
He's my idol.
Yeah,
Actually,
dude,
Anthony Bourdain's my idol.
I've read a lot of things that he's published, and I've obviously I'm not a chef, but I love to cook, so I've followed a lot of his deals, man. That guy was one of the most interesting people who ever lived. But anyways, what you do always reminds me of that, and I love that. So like to your point, like we live in a small town, Eureka, right? Born and raised out of St. Louis, and Celeste and I, we eat out fairly often, at least once a week, I'd say, most time, and we always hit the same spots, man. And like you're right, although that place could be good, it does get a little boring. We find ourselves having a hard time, like when we do want to try something new, we sit there and debate and try to figure out where the hell we want to go for an hour, and then we realize, oh shit, it's 8 o'clock. Oh, we won't go now.
Yeah.
It's like with you coming down there, you're trailblazing essentially, right? You're charting all these paths for people like us to have good, solid recommendations on a date night or other things that you do, just maybe a solo meal. But yeah, dude, I appreciate that idea and concept because it gives people like me already a queue of 10, 15 options to try. And like in anybody's relationship, you have to kind of keep things spicy, right? You can't make things the same. It's going to get boring. So, yeah, dude, with you out there blazing that trail, opening all these doors and giving honest reviews and opinions on all these places that I never would have heard of, you're kind of allowing me to keep that fire going. No pun intended, because I got to put more log on. But, keeping that fire going with those new places without me having to do the research.
Yeah.
So, dude, that's huge, man.
And I mean, that's what I love. I love being able to get in touch with those people and trying to help them with that. And also, my platform is to help create a place for small businesses to grow. I love helping small private businesses get their name out. That's exciting for me. meeting these people, getting to know their backstory, why they opened up a company, what made them get into this craft, or what got them into this hobby. That touches me. That getting to know someone like that, I enjoy that a lot.
Yeah, I agree, man. And I've always liked to patron small businesses. We eat at the Hill all the time. All those are small businesses. And I feel the same way, man. Like when I meet the owner of a place and I know his story, I know the reasons why, I know his, why he gets up every morning and gets there at 5 and doesn't leave till 2 a.m. Like, it makes me not only support the business more, but like I feel like it just makes the food better. You know what I mean? Like, the food is made with just pure hard work, dedication, and love and care.
The love, that's the most important thing. Those hole in the walls, like those mom and pop restaurants are the best.
Restaurants where like every customer matters. Like, dude, if I went to McDonald's and like I was unhappy, like they don't give a shit about me. Like, dude, who cares? There's gonna be 100 other people in the next hour, right?
They don't care about their job either. They're getting paid minimum wage.
They're clerks, man, right?
Jay and I went to an Italian restaurant. I wish I could give it a plug, but the owner, we walked in, he greeted me and Jane with a handshake. Like, he did that with every single person. He was walking around the bar. He knew most people's names because they're regulars. And the regulars for a reason. He gets to know those people. It's that personal effect that you get with a small restaurant. Yeah, and because every customer matters. Because like if you get treated better, man.
Well, if you didn't come back, right? Like that might be like your bill might be a meal or a bill that they didn't pay, right? Yeah. Like hey, I pissed 5 customers this month, had a bad experience, they're never gonna be back. Well, that's money literally out of their pocket that they could have earned. So McDonald's doesn't care because if you have a bad experience, like. People still eat there every day.
I mean, yeah, they're on the corner. They're on every single corner. You're going to eat there eventually if you need to go. But in these cases, these restaurants, you make it a point to go there. I mean, it's you plan to go there because you want to go there. It's not like, oh, it's last minute. Yeah, that's not what these restaurants are. I go to these places because they're good. I mean, they mean something to me. I found something interesting about it. So it's just I want to try to get that out there. It's something different.
For sure too, and the best part of that, man, is like not only are you're helping out a small business, right? Just by dining there, right? Yeah. That's huge, right? Because now everybody knows small businesses are struggling. Every small business, food, concrete, whatever the hell it is, everybody's struggling right now.
Ever since they had COVID, man, that took a whole big toll. I mean, I couldn't imagine being a small business going through that. But now is the time for us to help those small businesses out. And man, we need to. I mean, most of us don't like to cook. I mean, so I don't mind going out and supporting those small businesses.
I like to cook, but like here's what happens to me: we'll go out and like have a meal somewhere, and like I want to go home and try to cook it myself. I'll be like inspired, like holy shit! Like I remember the only reason like my wife really likes my fettuccine alfredo. Why is that? Because I had some bomb ass fettuccine alfredo at Dominic's on the Hill one time, and I was like, dude, I gotta try it. I gotta try to make this, right? Same deal. I went to I can't remember this breakfast joint, but I ate a breakfast casserole there, right? Oh, okay. And when I go to a breakfast place, I'm typically biscuits and gravy and waffles kind of guy. But I had this breakfast casserole on a whim. Man, you can ask Celeste. I cook a breakfast casserole almost every week, and I'll make a big pan of it, and we'll eat the breakfast casserole every morning for breakfast, because I make it so well. But I was inspired by that, So like, I'm that same way, man. I love that experience in a restaurant, but like, I see a cool dish, it tastes fucking awesome. I'm like, oh man, I wonder how close I can get. Now, is mine comparable? Definitely not, man. Like, they have a proven process and recipe, and it's doing well. And I just have my own little twist to it, which I like. But yeah, man, I love that. So I had a question for you though about that. Like, what do you really target? Like, is there a certain niche or a genre that you target, or is it more like, here's a bar that's in a hole, or here's a restaurant bar that's a hole in the wall. I'm just gonna go give it a whirl and see what happens.
There's no criteria. I'm not. It's whatever I find interesting, or I go based off a lot of recommendations too. I love when people go on my blog and try to post, say, hey, try this restaurant. I want to give it honest feedback. I want people to tell me about places too. It's not just me finding it on Google or trying to find new restaurants. It's word of mouth as well. Yeah. And I'm trying to hit all ages. It's not just people that are around, 21 to 30 trying to get into the bar scene. I'm not going to all bars. I don't like the bar scene anyway. So it's actually nice restaurants that hit all ages. I mean, some restaurants kids can go, so it's family friendly as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that, man. And like I said, you're a saving grace to somebody who's in a relationship like myself because, like, there's many, many times where, like, we just don't know where to go. And, like, I don't know I grew up in South City, but, like, I don't know every restaurant down there.
Yeah.
But, like, dude, you already have an encyclopedia of options for me. Then, like, dude, like, we just... Like, you know, eventually you're going to get to the point, too, where, like, you could start, like, playing a game. Where, like, you know, your platform's going to get so big, you're going to have so many reviews. People like me can play a game like, oh, well, you know, we're going to pick a number between 1 and 40, and whatever number we pick, that's the number on Derek's list that we go to and try. Like,
that's all. Yeah, I mean, dude, that's a great... That's an awesome idea for me.
That's all it is, man. That's all it is. Like, it has to be, like, spontaneous. It has to be a good time, dude. But, like, the randomness of it, too. And, like, is every restaurant that on your list, is there going to be a home run every time? No. But it's still better than, you know, going to the same old place and having the same old shit. Like, dude, try something new.
But that's the thing. I'm here to give my honest review. I'm not here to plug every single restaurant.
So you're not a paid promoter for any of these yet?
No. I mean, no, I'm not. Even if it was, I'm here to give the honest truth. I'm not here to lead anyone astray because then my page becomes that much like.
It just becomes advertising.
Yeah. Can you rely on me? No, not really at that point. The only reliable aspect that you can go to. Oh yeah, he knows his stuff. I like good food. Man.
So you're a well-traveled guy, which is great. So you've been all across Europe. I remember that trip. I envy that trip for you so much. It's such a. I remember seeing pictures. You went all across Europe. You went all across the northern part of Africa. Through Egypt and all that good stuff. What do you think as far as... So that's pretty exquisite, right? That's all crazy. I want to get into that in a second. Here, locally, for all you guys in St. Louis, what do you think is the most unique experience you've experienced so far? I know you haven't been doing it too long, but like as of right now, if you had to pick one, the most unique and exquisite experience, what do you think that would be?
Well, that's a good question. That's a really good question. So there's been a couple places that have really stuck with me so far. One of the first places I reviewed that was on a whim. It was we randomly found it. It was Takashima Record Bar, and this place.
Where's it at?
It's down in the Grove, right off of literally right in the Grove, right by the big Grove sign.
Yeah.
They have a DJ there that spins records.
Oh, that's really cool.
And their whole bar is lined with records, all over the wall, all up from the top to the bottom. And this guy has a ladder. He picks out these like records and he plays them. I mean, he spins them there. The bars, it's a dark bar, but it sets the mood right. And the owner, he works there every day. He's from Chicago. He brought the Chicago influence to St. Louis, brought these amazing drinks, amazing food. And I've never been to a record bar, let alone never knew that they still existed.
Never even heard of that.
I mean, this guy is up there spinning these records, like switching it over. It's amazing watching him work. It's a show. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, and you get food and drinks. And then this also, we just got into doing pop-up bars. I went to one pop-up bar that I'm not going to plug, but it was kind of very disappointing. And we actually, luckily, a person that runs a new pop-up bar in St. Louis reached out to me saying, hey, I'm sorry that was such a disappointment. Come check out mine. I actually got to go tour it yesterday, open Friday. Their first shows start Friday. And I was immersed in the whole atmosphere. This place, I didn't think I was in St. Louis anymore.
Really?
I don't want to give too much away, but it's about the wonderful Wizard of Oz. So you're in the Emerald City.
Oh wow, that's really cool.
The actors, they're all improv actors, so it's not like they're sticking to a straight script. If they want the audience to interact, so if whatever more the audience gives, the more they'll do.
So it's a show.
It's a show, but it's a show where you show with a big bar. I mean, you can sit there, you can drink.
Do you have to be quiet?
No, they want you to interact. They want you to have fun. They ask you questions. You're the Munchkins in a way. Like it's crazy. It's you're involved. All the audience members are involved. So that's what made this whole hearing about it. I'm going Friday, and I can't wait to experience it. But just from hearing it and just seeing what they have, it's gonna be amazing.
Yeah, just thinking about what you said, man. Like, I'm just thinking about the record bar. I'm still drawn on that because that's so cool. I have a record player right here. I love records, but a lot of mine were destroyed, unfortunately, by my dogs. But anyways, I had a 1962 original Beach Boys album, and I had an original fucking Grease. Like John Travolta, Olivia Newton-John. An original Grease album from, I think that came out in 75 or 76. Had an original album that was gifted to me, and my dogs, unfortunately, just destroyed it. But anyways, I'm just thinking about that guy. Like, so it's the owner that's been to the DJ.
No,
it's not.
The owner hired a DJ.
Oh, okay. So now that makes a little more sense. What I was thinking, I was like, man, what a great life to live. We're like, that dude's probably just a DJ. He's probably been a DJ forever. He just loves spinning records, and all he does is put on a show and spin records that he likes for his crowd, and people just go there and get drunk and have fun and eat food. Like, that's a dream job, dude.
That's the thing.
Like, that's a dream job.
He doesn't take any requests either.
You can't.
No. I talked to the owner. I was like, so, like, do you take requests? Does the guy take requests or anything? He's like, no, it's whatever the DJ wants. It's his lounge. He's the one that puts the atmosphere on. He's the one that knows what vibe needs
Dude, that goes
set.
back to what I talked about earlier about, like, your whole point of, like, just being random and spontaneous. Like, I would love to go to. So I actually, crazy enough, I would never. I told talking about my other buddy who I do some business with today. I was like, he's like, Nate, if you could pick a business, what would you do and what would you wouldn't do? Like, what industries? I was like, one, if I could open up a business, I'd open up a gun shop, 100%, obviously, because the margins are pretty good and whatever. I was like, he was like, what about would you not do? I was like, I would never open up a restaurant. And I was like, the only way I would ever open up a restaurant, and I would have to do a lot of market research to figure out this concept. But like, could you imagine going to a restaurant and like, there's no set menu, everything's random every day. Like, it's just whatever the chef feels like fucking making that day. So if the chef is in like a white chicken chili mood, that's what's on the menu. White chicken chili and like a house salad and maybe whatever. Like, I don't know how well that would do with the randomness because some people like going back to that restaurant for that certain dish.
They like routines.
They like routines, right? It's like for me, I love Favazza's. One of my favorite restaurants in the world. Had my engagement party there. I've had a couple birthdays there. Favazza's on the hill. Hands down, one of the best Italian joints I've ever been to. 10 out of 10 recommended. I get this. I've been going there for 20 years. I get the same thing. I get the chicken bodega. I've never got anything different. Not one time.
But it doesn't get tiring to you, though.
No, it does
right?
not. Red Robin, same deal. I know it's a chain. But like, I've been going to Red Robin my whole life. Like, at least once, twice a year, maybe 3 times a year.
Yeah.
And I've got the bonsai burger since I was 5 years old, all the way to I'm 27.
I was there for that one.
Yes,
that was the first time I heard about it. I never even knew they had it.
Yeah, you were there, yeah. But the fucking bonsai burger is incredible, right? So, like, I feel like people like the routine. But I wonder if there is that group of people, that untapped market, if you will, that demographic that's not being hit of the random, of the spontaneous. Like, oh, who knows Nate's restaurant? Is it going to be a burger day or is it going to be a house salad wrap day? Like, what?
So there are a lot of restaurants like that in St. Louis. You ever heard of Stone Soup Cottage? It's they don't really have a set menu. It's private.
Stone Soup Cottage. Or
The Stone Soup Cottage, yes.
Is that down in South City off of Cherokee?
I haven't been there. I know about it. All I know is that it's a private chef that has a menu. He comes out and explains every single meal to you. It's like in a small private little lounge. And the menu's never the same. It's what he wants to serve.
Oh, dude, that's so cool.
We
should go.
I would love to. It's hard to get reservations.
I believe it.
It takes like 6 months out they book.
After this podcast, book it right now. We'll be here. If I'm still alive in 6 months.
And Blood and Sand. Have you
I've been to Blood and Sand, yeah.
Have you done their food to tasting, like the 5-course food tasting?
No, I ordered off the menu when I went there.
Oh, I did the 5-course food tasting. It's beautiful. I mean, I had the kangaroo tartare with a quail's yolk on there.
No shit.
Dude, yeah, we should definitely go there as well.
Yeah.
Double dates. Perfect places. Those are we've been looking for an excuse to go there.
Dude, fuck double dates. Let's just go me and you. No,
I'm down. All right.
Just kidding.
Well, women don't heard them, right?
Right. Dude, for Celeste and I's 2-year, one of the years, I don't know, long time ago anyways, we went to this place off Shoto Avenue downtown called Vin de Sette. You ever heard of that?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
It's like a really nice upscale French restaurant. And like, I am an Italian-German guy. I don't even like French people. Right, like their culture. I've never been nothing wrong with French.
The French
people.
don't like us either. So.
Right. Well, you can tell. Like, yeah. I've never had any interest in French culture. Like Charlemagne was pretty cool, but like I don't have any interest in French culture. It's never appealed to me. Their food has definitely never appealed to me, other than like some pastry items and bread. But dude, we went to this Vin de Sette. I typed in most romantic and expensive restaurant in St. Louis, and that popped up like number 2. Got my reservation there. It was crazy. Anyways, dude, we went in there and we had all these crazy dishes. Crazy fucking dishes that I would have never even thought about, dude. And Celeste and I both agreed they looked and smelled like they should have been served hot, but they're cold. They were always cold, and they were just incredible. We had this weird pate kind of deal. It was a knockout. We had this other dish. I don't even remember the name of the dish, but I just remember how they taste. It was so good. And then the location, the location was beautiful. And we ate on a rooftop overlooking like the city. It wasn't that tall of a building, like probably 4 stories. And then they got us a bottle of champagne. This is when I was drinking, but they gave us a bottle of champagne as complimentary, and it was really, really cool. But to your point, man, I was blown away by how just exquisite those crazy dishes are.
I mean, I love those fancy meals. I'm a fancy drink, fancy meal type place person. I'm looking at checking out some Michelin star restaurants here. And you know how expensive those can be.
Name one. I don't know.
I don't know the name. I have a list. I don't know the name off the top of my list either. But, dude, I've looked at the menus. Some of the stuff that they have, it's amazing. But going on what you were saying about French food. When I was in France, I had escargot, and they say it's just for transportation of butter. Like that's all it is. But I'm telling you, just having it there made it that much better. It was good.
Like authentic.
Oh yeah, I mean you can get escargot. I went to a restaurant, this hotel. It was on this whim. Jane and I were hungry, and we went there. Looked at the menu. They had escargot. I'm like, what? Escargot in a hotel restaurant? I wouldn't trust that.
Yeah,
especially in Missouri.
Sushi.
Yeah. So I mean, there's a time and place to order that fancy food, and yeah.
How was it?
Oh. I didn't order it there. I stayed away. I ordered toasted wraps, and they weren't good either.
Yeah, but I mean, it's still you're eating processed food, which is probably safe to eat.
Yeah,
not an escargot.
that's
God knows what fucking mad cow disease is in it or whatever.
If they're even cooking it right.
Right. Yeah, man. Where do you think is the most? Wait. Didn't you eat at Salt Bay's place in Turkey?
Yeah, I went to Salt Bay's place in Turkey. Got the gold drink there.
Yeah.
Did not get the gold foods because it was overpriced.
It's like $23,000 for the gold steak, the gold tomahawk.
Yeah, the gold tomahawk was so it was in Turkish liras. So everything we got, we had to.
What's the currency rate there? Like
I went to so many places. I don't remember the currency exchange. We had to use an app all the time.
What do you think though? If you had to put a guess on it.
So I'll give you a example. So our meal cost 6,666 Turkish liras, and that was around $700 in US dollars.
Okay, so that's like a 1 to 6 ratio.
Yeah, it was not. They don't have really good exchange rate for them. For us, yeah, I mean we got it.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, we got a good
$700 and you're at fucking Salt Bay's, like dude.
I had gold drinks there. My buddy got a tomahawk steak, but it wasn't even the food that made it. It was the performance.
Yeah.
I got a Wagyu steak. They cooked it on a salt stone right in front of me, and the guy cut it and fed me. And, we had caprese. He cut it all up. He was feeding me. I don't know why it was me. I know what else got fed, but I got fed. But they tucked the napkin in my shirt, was feeding me. I was like, Jesus. This drink that the bartender comes around he has a cart. He strolls around the restaurant, and he has these expensive bottles of tequila. And my buddy, named Marco, he was he's from Mexico. He had some money on him, and because his dad owned a copper mine in Mexico.
Oh shit.
Mexico, yeah.
They do pretty well.
Oh yes. So he was like, "What's the most expensive bottle of tequila?" And the guy said it. He's like, "Well, it's I forgot how much it was. It was like $100, $200 for a shot." My buddy's like, "Yeah, no, I'm not taking cheaper one."
Yeah.
So it was expensive, but seeing those drinks, having the gold leaf on my drink, even though it didn't make it taste any better.
Yeah.
It's just the presentation.
Yeah.
It came out of a smoking crate. I mean, what else could you ask for, right?
Did you see Salt Bay there?
No, he was not there at that restaurant. He was in New York at that time in the American restaurant.
I would be very confident. It's like the same. Like my family went to Vegas a couple years ago. They went to the pawn shop there, gold and silver.
Yeah.
Like, dude, they're never there.
No.
Like, why would they be? They're there when they shoot, and like that's fine. That's the goal of being a business owner. Like that guy Salt Bay, he had such a strong social media following, killed it, right? And the quality's still there. So like the best thing about his business is like he doesn't have to be there, and it's still an incredible experience. And it's almost like he was there.
I mean, it's his face. That's all that matters. Because if you hire the right, they do that there. They do that there. I mean, so you don't need Salt Bay, but it's his face, and like you're going to a good place. It's like going to Hell's Kitchen.
He cultivated such a good culture in that workspace.
I mean,
right? So that
he found something niche, like you said. He found the salt thing. It's the videos that made him grow big, and ever since then, he was able to go. Too. But he didn't initially start off like he was a little. So the restaurant that I went to was his first restaurant, and it was fancy, but he worked his way up. Yeah, there. He would never start off like that.
I'm just saying, I don't eat steak. I don't eat steak. Never have, never will, really. And I'll tell you, man, like the steak that I see on that makes me want to eat a piece of steak.
Oh, I loved it. I ordered that Wagyu, and I was still hungry, so I ordered a burger from him too. Oh, I mean, it was. I mean, people you think, what can you do with a burger to make it taste that much better? I don't know what he did. I don't know what they do, but it was juice. It was amazing. Like
when you, I want to ask you one question about your international travels real quick, and then we can get back to what we were talking about. But so on your travels, one thing that I've talked about on my show is American processed food. Would you say the quality of food when you were traveling is much better?
Oh, hands down. Hands down. So that's the thing. France, they don't process their food. They don't have their food. The processed food there is minimal.
I heard that they don't pasteurize their milk either.
I wouldn't know. I don't know. I didn't pay too close attention. All I know is that if they had milk, I drink it. And their breakfast there were not. I mean, it's not like an American breakfast with all this meat and stuff. It was mostly bread. So that was hard for me to adjust to that. Just waking up wanting to eat and. Their hard-boiled eggs were, you try to peel it, they would just, the whites would just go with it. It wasn't cooked like it was in the United States, so it's different. But the food tastes so much better.
More authentic.
And, I mean, just like their sodas over there, Coca-Cola, they have less sugar in them compared to American soda because there's a sugar tax. I mean, in some countries in Europe, you can't have a certain amount of sugar in there. That's why Dr. Pepper's not there.
Holy
because
shit.
They don't want to change the recipe, yeah.
And
when you do find Dr. Pepper, it's their normal recipe, but they're just taking the tax.
Yeah,
they're just sucking it up. They're like, oh, screw it, we don't want to change our recipe.
So let me ask you this: as a guy myself who's overweight, I think the ratio in America is 1 in every 5 people is overweight. I think it's 1 in every 7 is obese. What did it look like over there?
Oh, everyone over there is skinny. They're really? Small. Everything's small over there. Their toilets are small. Everything's so much smaller.
So nobody's having any B-dubs or Chipotle poops over there.
No. I mean, some of the places I went to, some of these truck shops didn't even have toilet seats. You were sitting on the rim, of the porcelain. No, you were sitting on the porcelain of the toilet, not that plastic toilet seat. Yeah.
As a man who just had his bidet installed today,
I'm telling you, I saw that upstairs. I forgot to mention it. It's the way to go. I have a bidet. I've been telling people about it. I'm surprised you're finally getting on this thing.
So I'm a barbarian. All right. So I'm a barbarian. Listen to this. I went to my boss's house. My boss lives in a big house in Wildwood. His family and him are just awesome people. Anyways, they host a lot of company events at his house because it's a pretty good sized house, and we had a good time. I went in there to take a poop after dinner, and his is automatic. And it makes noise at you. The seat's heated.
Ooh.
It's probably a $2,000 bidet. It's crazy. You can play a game on it, all this crazy shit, right? And
gives you a massage and everything.
I don't know about that, but it was just crazy. It was it looked like a fighter pilot seat.
Oh,
I
wow.
was damn,
captain's chair type.
Red, but yeah, absolutely. I was blown away. And this is in his. He's got 4 bathrooms in his house. This is his guest bathroom downstairs, right? So I was like, okay. Well, I took a poop and water squirted in my ass, and I was like, hey man, what the fuck? What's going on? So I told my boss, I'm like, hey man, something's wrong with your toilet. And he goes, what do you mean? I go, I think there's a leak somewhere, dude. I had no clue. I've never even thought about it. And he goes, was the seat heated? And I was like, yeah, man, it was really hot in there. He was like, no, dude, that's my bidet. He's like, you just had your asshole cleaned. I was like, oh, okay. So I used it again, a different time, and I enjoyed it. I was like, oh, well, this is pretty great. So what did I do? Got a bidet. So
I'm telling you,
it's a game changer, dude.
I don't know how I was wiping my ass with paper for 20-something years. I got it for as a Christmas present for my
Dude,
mom.
don't you just feel like a fucking savage?
Oh, dude, when I have to use it at like the bathroom at work or something like that,
Oh, you're like peasants.
I don't feel clean. I don't feel as. I don't know how people do it. I mean, in the hostels I was staying at in Europe, they had bidets. They weren't the ones that were connected to the seat. They were a separate sink. But even they have bidets. I'm like, man, we are so barbaric here in the United States, wiping our ass with paper and a Cuccio. Dude, I mean, I'm not a fan of that.
I'm right there with you, man. It's a game changer. I have yet to break this one in. I'm looking forward to that tonight. But you know, like
Give me a review, man. I
really will. A good buddy of mine got it for. I put it on a registry as a joke. As a joke. And like,
as a joke.
I told Celeste, I was like, if nobody gets it, I'm just gonna go buy one. They had them for like at Home Depot for like $250. I was like, I'm just gonna go buy one. My buddy got me one because he has one, and he's like, hey dude, you told me your bidet story. I got it for you. Fuck yeah. And then you know, my buddy Gunnar came in and helped me install it today. But yeah, dude, like such a game changer. Going back to what you said about America's being, you know, we talk a lot about our society on this podcast, and we go through things. The reason why I asked that question about the food earlier is like I truly, and I don't want to sound conspiratorial here. I know I say that every podcast. Just bear fucking with me. And if you don't like it, do some research and you'll find out I'm probably right. But I just truly believe like Americans do. Like we're being poisoned by our own people.
Oh, for
like
sure.
it's like the food we eat is dog shit. So like for example, I've been kind of heavier my whole life. When I got with Celeste, her family was like very conscientious on like their food. I never looked at a fucking label, nothing, dude. Anytime I go to the grocery store now, what happens? Me and Celeste are looking at labels.
Yeah.
You know, I've cut my sugar intake down from over 100 grams a day to probably 20 grams a day.
That's a big,
if not less.
Big change. I mean, you feel so much better. I bet.
Dude, I feel a lot better when I eat sugar, like a shit ton of it. And you know what? I read I read an article about this. They talk about the reason why everything is so full of sugar is because in the 50s and 60s. They labeled trans fat and saturated fat as the bad guys. Yeah. Well, when they took those fats out of the foods, like, what did they have to do? They had to make something so it didn't taste like shit.
Yeah.
So what did they do? They popped it full of sugar. Like, dude, in the 1950s and 60s and 70s, like, a bowl of fucking Honey Nut Cheerios with fucking 80 grams of sugar was a nutritious breakfast.
I mean, they also said smoking wasn't. It was a healthy part of the day.
Yeah,
I mean,
it was a good way to lose weight.
Yeah.
And cut down stress. Like, it's just crazy, dude, like, how... It's crazy how... And I don't want to say like our government because it's really not our government, but it's like the companies in our country are allowed to fucking do that. Like I looked at this, so I love ice cream, you know that.
Yeah.
Dude, I eat if I eat a little pint of Ben and Jerry's, it's 110 grams of sugar. Okay, that's a lot.
That is a lot.
Did you know that a fucking bottle of Sprite, like a 12-ounce bottle of Sprite, is 38 grams of sugar? You go to a restaurant, you get a fucking soft drink, right? You're at a restaurant. How many sodas do you think you'll drink? Probably 3?
No, yeah. Oh, yeah, I drank.
At least 2 or 3, right?
Yeah.
Dude, that's 150 grams of sugar. Like, or 120 grams of sugar.
Yeah.
Like, in just that. And that's not even a meal. And if I eat a whole pint of Ben & Jerry's, I'm stuffed.
That's going back to the sugar tax that they have in Europe. That's why they don't get me wrong, there are fat Europeans. Of course. But it's scarce. They're very rare. But that's because they don't want processed foods. They don't want a high sugar. I mean, we are killing. When I was over there, I felt the best I did, even though I wasn't getting the amount of food. I was working out a lot before I went over there, so I was.
Yeah, you were in excellent shape.
I was counting. I was making sure I was getting the protein. I was doing all that. When I was backpacking Europe, I couldn't do that. I was trying to find peanut butter as much as I could.
Yeah, I feel like they're a less protein oriented society. I feel like, which is not necessarily a bad thing because like Americans, like if you look at our American build next to a European build, we are stockier, heavier, bigger people, right? By that, but I would also, although our sugar intake is very high as well, I would also like to see a comparison of protein intake.
Yeah,
you know?
dude.
Same deal with like people in Africa, right? Like one of their main sources is protein. So,
yeah.
Like, most of their diet, if you know, even in the most poorest part of Africa, where you know they might be struggling to make meals, a lot of their meals is protein based.
But
so
they're
also
also hunting and gathering their food most of the time. That's what I'm saying.
So if you see like an African tribal village, like dude, everybody in there is in excellent fucking shape.
Yes.
Like those Nairobi, or is it Nairobi Kenyans or not? No, Nairobi is the capital of Kenya. Excuse me. Those Kenyans and the there's another country over there. I think it's Eritrea. Or maybe Ethiopia. The ones that like they run like 60 miles a day.
Oh.
Like they just have the most incredible endurance ever. When I also think about like how America should run our society when it comes to nutrition, like I always think about like ancient Greece, like Sparta, right? Like every Spartan citizen had the access to the best healthcare, the best food, the best water, the best supplements, whatever they had back then, right? Like, they wanted their whole populace to be ready to go if shit popped off, right?
Because they cared.
Right, they cared. Every man mattered on the battlefield, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like, every man. And that's why they said, like, in the movie 300 and even in history books, like, I believe, if it was not Aristotle, it was Plato, one of those guys.
I went to Thermopylae. I went
Thermopylae?
I went there.
Yeah, so
dude, seeing those... dude.
I would shit my pants.
Oh, my God.
But, like,
sorry.
my point is, like, those guys, like, dude, everybody mattered. Like, if shit popped off, for every one Spartan was equivalent to, like, 5 Persians.
Yes.
So, like, that's why those men were able to, and also tactical advantage. I'm a big tactic guy. All I play, my RTS games are always tactical based. So I could, if I was a fucking general back then, I'd probably be one of the greatest of all time. Love it. But, you know, like, my point being is, like, Americans, like, we were just so fed this bullshit. And we're an alcohol and fat and sugar-based society. And it's really sad, dude. Like, I really hate that that's the way it is, dude. Because you go to any store, everything you eat is dog shit. The air we breathe is polluted. The water we drink. Dude, Flint doesn't have clean water still. Eureka, where I live. Fuck, dude. Like, the water is shit.
I mean...
You have to replace the water heater every 3 years.
And with water, I mean, I think water is another big issue with our weight gains, how people are. Because we have purified water now. I mean, I drink strictly natural spring water if I can. I mean, if I have to drink tap water, I will.
I will.
But... If I'm dying, I get dehydrated easily, so I have to drink. I will, but there's studies that show that they can't get all the estrogen out of the water that they're repurifying and we're drinking.
So that's frogs gay, like Alex Jones said.
It's actually causing men's hormone levels to change.
Yeah,
so our testosterone levels are actually decreasing.
Yeah.
Drinking this public water or this purified water. So that's also an issue. You go to Europe, most of their water is not pure. I mean.
Do you think it's from like a natural aquifer?
Oh yeah, most of their water is not natural, or it's not just quickly processed at the water treatment plant and turned over quickly to help fill a big city. I mean, our cities are really overpopulated, so that's why I feel like we have to get the sewage out and the water in as fast as we can.
Right.
And they don't care about getting everything perfect. It's a safe level of everything, right? You can have X amount of bug pieces in a piece of chocolate. So, I mean, it's a safe level of care. Yeah. It's like, I don't want any estrogen in my water. I mean, they're saying that, tofu. If you eat too much tofu, it gives you estrogen, too.
You know what? We also say that about fish, too, with radiation now. And mercury
the mercury poison.
It's a real thing, dude. It's terrible. But, like, nobody gives a fuck, dude. Because
we're dumping all this shit in the water. Where else are we supposed to put it? Like, we forget about it.
I believe in the future. I'm a solution to that, man. Load it on a fucking spaceship. There's so much space debris anyways, dude.
Space is endless. I mean, it goes up, dude. Down, left, right.
So, like, send it out far enough on a fucking rocket, dude. Like, load up a fucking... And this would be super expensive.
Do you know how much space debris is already out there?
Oh, millions
dude,
and millions
there's so much more space debris out there than there is in...
Dude, did you know that every year there is so much space debris that comes back to Earth that people's houses are destroyed? Like, there was a Chinese rocket fuel cell that came back and, like, landed on somebody's house... or near somebody's house, like in Iowa last year or something crazy. And the Chinese government, they sued them, and I guess they got paid out whatever. I'm not sure it wasn't that much.
But like it's these satellites. These satellites aren't staying in orbit all the time. I mean, fully, there's some crashing down. We see meteorites or comets, like, we're just shooting stars.
Right,
9 times out of 10, it's a satellite that's crashing down to the Earth. Yeah.
Well, because people have...
space debris.
And like I told you before, I study a lot of astrophysics and dynamics. I love this subject. These people had plans, like in the 70s and 80s when they launched all these crazy satellites, cell phone satellites, TV satellites, all this shit, surveillance satellites. They had a plan to get them up there. They didn't have a plan to get them back.
Exactly.
Like,
they're just like, whatever. They're up there.
Like, whatever. Like, fuck it. Whatever happens, dude. And that's, once again, in my opinion, that's just the American mentality. Like, oh, fuck it. Like, we're such a, and I've said this on the podcast before, dude, we're such an instant gratification society. Where, like, things have to be right now, right here, right now. And it's to our detriment, dude, because, like, we have a nation that grew up on fast foods and fucking dog shit water. Like, they put, what is the fucking, fluoride in our water.
Yeah.
They said it's supposed to help our teeth, dude.
Hey, traveling Europe, I saw the difference in, just going to London, you see the difference of fluoride in water and not fluoride in water. Their teeth, not that their teeth are unhealthy. It's that their teeth are yellow and a natural color. So Yeah, we're putting chemicals in our water to make our teeth healthier, they say. But really, is our teeth supposed to be this white? I mean...
I don't buy it. Here's why I don't buy it. My grandfather's 83 years old. He grew up on a plantation in Mississippi. Like an old farm, right? He was born in 1940. The guy they had a dirt floor, a tin house, didn't have plumbing water, didn't have electricity, okay?
Didn't have a pot to piss in, pretty much,
right?
A
pot to piss in outside, and a window to throw it out of, right?
Yeah.
So the whole point, though, that I'm trying to make is, like, my grandfather brushes his teeth religiously. He always has, even as a kid, right? But he doesn't brush his teeth with fucking tap water. You know, he uses distilled or, other things like they did back then. Back then, they get water from the well, boil it. That's their drinking water. That's their bathing water. That's whatever the fuck, right? So, like, dude, my grandpa has excellent dental hygiene.
Well water is different from public city water.
Well, of course
living in the soil, I will drink that water straight from my sink. I mean, it's the coldest.
Yeah.
And it's the most flavorful. It's so tasty. I mean, yes, I like to drink pure natural spring water. I drink that, but I can taste well water, and well water is...
It's a different...
Oh, it's minerals and everything in there.
I was on a float trip when I was a kid, and my cousin and I, Brady, we saw a stream coming down. So we followed it. We parked the boat, and we followed the stream up. What did I find? A cold water spring.
Oh.
Like maybe half a mile up this beaten path, right? Up this deer trail. And he pushed me in it as a joke. Fuck me, dude. It was the coldest water. But I got some in my mouth, and I was like, oh my God, this is super pure. And it's being pumped. Like, you could see the pump coming out of it. Like, it was crazy. So we drank a shit ton of it, dude. And, like, it was just so good. It was just it was the best water I've ever tasted in my life.
I was fortunate enough to go to Switzerland. And
did you drink the glacier water?
The places we were staying got fresh glacier water. You could see the stream. Like, they had open streams that would flow to the buildings, and you would just drink that water that you'd see openly stream. So cool. I mean, it's so good. I mean, being American, you think, oh yeah, we have good water here. St. Louis has the clean water. It's drinkable water. Like, some cities don't have drinkable water. We have nothing compared to what they have over there. That natural spring water, that glacier water.
It's unreal, man. I'm sure. But it goes back to my point, man. Like, I feel like, why as Americans, like, and why as a society do we allow that to happen? Why do we allow the bullshit? Like, once again, dude, to all you people out there, I don't know if I have any listeners in Flint, but to all the people out there that are in Flint that still have drinking water that still have water that has methane levels that are a lethal dose in there, dude. Like, I'm sorry you guys fucking deal with that, man. It's terrible. It's not fair. Like, you pay taxes. You should be... There's a basic level of human rights that Americans should have. And honestly, in my opinion, everybody in the world should have.
Everyone should be treated equal. And if you're living in the United States, you should be treated equally. You should have the same right as everyone else. Unless, given you've done something to fuck it up. And
well, of course.
Then you've given up that right. Like, the right to vote, the right to have guns.
Those aren't rights. Those aren't really rights.
Those are
privileges,
but
right?
yes,
so, like,
yes.
Yeah, if you have 45 DUIs and you lose your license, man, fuck you. Like, you're the problem.
But if you're in Michigan, those kids. There's kids that live up there it's not their issue. Yeah. Why is that their problem to deal with? No, it shouldn't be. There's a underground waste facility that's still burning because
in Missouri.
There's another one. I forgot what state. But they tried to light the waste underground to try to get rid of it.
And it was next to a natural gas deposit.
It was next to underground coal mines.
That was in I know what you're talking about. I think that was in Indiana.
Yes.
Yeah, they had to
abandoned coal mines, and
they had to shut down the whole town.
They abandoned the whole town.
Yeah, because underneath the road, it's just a blazing fire.
I was listening to this podcast actually earlier today. And there's apparently 2 people that still live there, and there's 1 store that's still in that area. And I was listening to this podcast about all these disasters that you humans have created just in the United States.
Yeah.
That we've had these. There's a there's a nuclear waste facility in Weldon Springs?
No.
Or Valley Park?
No,
Valley Park.
No, it's not Valley Park. It's in Champ, which is next to Bridgeton.
That's where they dumped everything for the Manhattan Project. All the nuclear waste for the Manhattan Project.
The one in Champ, you're right. Yeah. So, but also the one in Weldon Springs is a nuclear waste deposit. If anybody in Missouri and you ever go down towards the wineries, towards Defiance, and you look towards your right, there's going to be a huge mound of limestone. About 100 feet down is a massive quarry, essentially, and they buried all this nuclear waste, which could be it is radioactive, but it could, who knows what could happen there.
The funny thing is, You can do tours around that place. You can do tours around the nuclear waste site. I mean, it's like visiting the Coconut Mountains in Illinois. You take yourself on a self-guided tour. Like I'm like, nuclear,
so I'll tell you, when I first got into my sales and marketing career, I worked in an office in Bridgeton, Maryland Heights, across the street from that landfill where the nuclear waste is, where it's like burning. And dude, every Wednesday they would open up like the exhaust vents, and like it just the whole area smelled like burning plastic. I know I'm gonna have repercussions from that.
I was just thinking about like what's gonna happen to your
lungs.
It's around your skin.
Yeah, dude. I guarantee you, 20 years from now, I'm probably gonna have some complications. You know, cardiovascularly or fucking respiratory wise, because of what I breathed in every Wednesday for fucking 3 years.
In the early 50s or 60s, we didn't know about asbestos poisoning. They were lining houses with that because it was flame retardant.
Yeah, I got you beat. Do you know what they did with gasoline?
What?
Do you know why on every pump in America you go to it says unleaded?
Oh yeah, there used to be lead in gas.
There used to be fucking lead.
Yeah, so when you're burning it, you're sick.
Dude, you're sitting. Imagine this: you're sitting in a fucking. I think in the 70s they stopped the lead shit.
Yeah.
So let's say you're 1950s, 60s, 70s, and so on. You're fucking, to that point, right? I think it was like 1974. You're driving in a fucking car. You know the ventilation sucked back then.
Oh,
so
yeah.
you had the AC on if you had it.
Or the window cracked.
Or the window cracked.
Yeah.
Fumes coming in, and you're just breathing in that fucking lead bioproduct, right?
You're sitting at stoplights or something. Dude, you're not even flowing. There's no air. Back then there was less restriction on emissions.
Yeah.
So with no catalytic converters, there's no there was no sensors to regulate how much fuel you're burning.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if I think about everything back then, I mean.
Well, they did a study, and they said like during those time frames, there was like a 11-point on average decrease in IQ.
And I mean lead. I mean people.
Dude,
lead in paint.
But dude, 11 points, man.
Yes, I mean
like if you're so if you score a 50, you're considered like clinically like mentally challenged. Okay, dude, if you're a 61, you're normal. That pushed somebody from being normal to mentally challenged. That's 11 points, dude. Like that's a huge. It's not like 1 point, right? People say like we're losing 1 point of IQ because we drink plastic water bottles that have BPA's and all this bullshit. No, dude. 11 points. Like, that's enough to, like...
Is that just Americans, too?
That's just Americans, yeah.
So, I mean, think about it, other countries. They weren't as, let's say, automotively developed as us. They had a lot of automobiles.
You think Russian cars have emissions?
Dude, no. Oh, my God. No, but, like, I'm saying Europe. I mean, those small towns, small roads, you have a bike that goes everywhere.
Yeah.
There are a lot... I mean, that's why I feel like they might be smarter than us. They were able to keep that generation smart. Ours got a little bit dumber.
Well, do you think like that? Like Europe might be that way because the scalability is, in Europe, right? Although some countries have a lot of population, none of those, like no country in Europe, I think, has a larger population than California.
No.
Right. So like, and also too, like the landmass, right? So like, it's a lot easier to scale a country on a green side whenever you're like Great Britain's like the size of like Wisconsin or something.
Oh, dude, in Europe, you can travel across all of Europe in one day, pretty much.
Right.
Top to bottom. I mean,
so that's my point, right? So like,
it's small, yeah.
Right. So like, I think it might be easier to scale. Whereas America, we have a huge landmass. There's 280 million people here, or something like that, right? Like, it's a lot easier to scale when you have 60 million people spread out. Let's say the size of Texas, rather than the landmass that we have. I don't know, but. I think France is the size of Texas, if I'm not mistaken.
But like also, in Texas, there's people that own so much land. I'm all about owning huge acres of property, but that's what also helps, like makes it different. Where these people own thousands and thousands of acres, so there's not that many people living in Texas that could be living there.
Right. Well, fuck, I think Bill Gates owns like 15,000 acres in Texas.
I mean, most celebrities own almost all of Hawaii, right? I mean, I think they bought that out after the
Larry Ellison, the founder of one of the founders of Oracle, he owns like 90% of the whole island of starts with an L. I don't know. I've never been to Hawaii, so I don't know. It's not obviously not Maui, but it's like a smaller island that starts with an L. He owns like 98% of it.
I think Bill Gates owns a lot of it too. As well. I mean, he's like. These celebrities are buying up all this property. Dude, I don't want to get into that conspiracy theory now, dude. That's a whole rabbit hole that we can go down next time.
But it's true though, dude, fucking companies like BlackRock and fucking Vanguard, like they're buying up all these small properties, dude. Because so I'm a real estate investor. I do some real estate investing. Dude, I had a situation where I found a duplex in West County one time for a good deal. dude, somebody came through with a cash offer. Okay, that happens for sure. That happens, right? My buddy and my partner, he lives in Miami. He does real estate investing on a larger scale. I'm talking like millions of dollars of properties. Dude, he put a bid in with his partner for like a 38-unit complex down there or whatever the fuck. It was like $6 million. And they were going to do traditional, so they were going to do 25% down, which was X amount, and finance the rest, as most investors do. A company, BlackRock, came through fucking $5 million over asking price and fucking paid cash. Why? Because they have $1 trillion in assets, so they can do that. But those companies, man, are making it harder for the little guys like us to get around because they're buying all the land up, dude. Yeah. And I always tell you, man, like, if you don't get the car, whatever, they make more of them. If you don't get a shirt, whatever, they make more of them, dude. There's a finite amount of land mass, dude. And, like, it never gets created or destroyed. It's just transferred. It's the same thing with, like, energy, right? So, like, my point being is, like, if you have the opportunity to buy fucking real estate, buy property, learn how to do it, learn how to do it correctly, have a business plan, and fucking do it.
I agree.
Like, my partner and I, we're working this deal all day. We're going to a showing tomorrow. We got fucking our pre-approval letter. We have cash in hand. We're ready to go. I'm not going to wait around for BlackRock to come and fuck me. If we like the deal tomorrow, dude, I'm handing them fucking money in a contract and saying, let's do it. You know, like, you can't wait anymore in this market. But,
yeah, when you wait, everything gets taken up from under you, dude.
Dude. So, that's great, dude. We've been talking for a little bit here, and we already went on our one tangent, which is cool. So, we're going to do that a couple more times, I'm sure. But, so let's go back to the meat and potatoes of, like, you. Like, so you're doing this, your platform here, where you go out and review things. I love that. I think it's fucking awesome. So what's next for Derek in that caliber, man? Obviously, you have to have a plan to scale this up, right?
Oh yeah, I'm an avid traveler. I love traveling.
Obviously.
So I'm not just keeping my blogs to St. Louis places. We did a post on Virginia Beach. We went out there, went on the boardwalk, went on the longest boardwalk out in North America.
Did you really?
Yeah.
In Virginia Beach?
Yes, in Virginia Beach. They never even knew about it. You had to. You had to buy. You had to pay $2 per person.
Sure.
To go and I just bought a drink and they let us go.
Yeah, sure, why not? But it's so cool to be out there.
It was. I mean, just seeing all these people. It's just like any boardwalk, but seeing these people reeling these fish. This guy caught a puffer fish when we were out there.
Oh no way!
And he kept it.
Oh wow!
He was on to eat it. He was saying that he was on to eat it.
You know the story with those, right?
Yeah, about how venomous they are. Because if you cut them wrong, I mean, there's chefs in Japan that they spend years and years
like
and
10
years of training.
Yeah. And do you know what happens to you if you eat that?
You die instantly.
No. No. So
the toxins from it?
The toxins in it is a neurotoxin, so it actually paralyzes you.
Yeah.
And it basically makes your heartbeat and your fucking respiratory like undetectable, but you're still alive. Okay, so your body goes into like a coma almost. It's more of like hibernation. But the reason why there's so emphasis on this when people eat it is because when they pierce these glands and the toxins get into the meat and people eat it, they will die, right? And there's been many cases of people being buried alive, or like being on the mortuary table about to be fucking cut open.
You hear about this? Did you know about this back in New Orleans? That's why they used to run a string from the grave.
With a bell.
Yeah, with the bell.
Yeah. I do know about that.
Yeah.
Did you know what I love?
That's ridiculous.
I'm a big history guy too. I love reading about that shit. Did you know, like in most graves, I can't remember what time frame it is, but it's in England. Most like Victorian graves, they were so convinced that vampires were real that they have a metal
cage over there. I
so
saw
wild.
some, man. I was like, wait, what the heck?
Speaking of New Orleans, my best man went to New Orleans for not his honeymoon, but they went to a trip, like a weekend trip or something like that down there. And they went to a part of New Orleans that was really run down. I've never been there, so I can't post any judgment. And I'll tell you guys right now, St. Louis is a shithole too. So if I say somewhere is a shithole, like just to let you know, I live in a shithole.
I love New Orleans. I mean, I'm
never been there. I've always wanted to go.
I went there as a kid, and I saw some boobies that I never saw boobies before in person. I'm like, my God, this is my place.
This is where I need to be.
I had beads up around my head. I saw a picture of it.
But he's told me that some of those old cemeteries from because there's a lot of significant battles that happened in New Orleans.
Oh
right?
Yeah.
And he said some of these old cemeteries are 300, 400 years old, right, from whenever. And they're not maintained, they're not state run, so they're just fucking. He goes, dude, you'll have places where the ground will be eroded from the water and floods, and there'll be the corners of coffins that are 200 years old stick out. And
they're below the water line, right? Like sea level. So that's why they can't bury their dead.
Right.
They're not supposed to bury their dead anymore.
Because they're just digging in sand.
Yeah, and their graves just get lifted up to the permafrost and all that stuff. It's just boop.
It's wild.
That's why everything's buried on top now. Could you imagine coming out and seeing like, oh, there's Uncle Jim's body up out of his grave. Look at that,
dude.
Being like that's where they thought zombies or vampires were a thing.
Well, a lot of that zombie comes through, and the voodoo shit comes from that voodoo culture. Because I'm sure they had situations like that. You know, I remember being a kid, and I know we're like the same age, but I remember being a kid and like Katrina happened.
Oh yeah.
And dude, I remember, I'll never forget. There was this fucking video of an alligator like going down a canal with like a fucking dog in its mouth after the storm. You know, because like they had a huge storm surge, like there was water everywhere, and like I'll never forget like watching that. Like, holy shit, this is New Orleans. It's fucking, you know, like a fucking alligator or crocodile, probably an alligator, but an alligator just. Somebody's fucking. They got Rufus. Somebody's fucking dog.
They had to open up. So they had to open up all those shelters to let those dogs out, run free. I mean, we can at least give them a chance.
They would drown. Yeah.
Yeah. If they were in those cages, they'd just drown. You don't want to suffer them.
Yeah.
So you give them a chance. And you know, Mother Nature's run its course.
Yeah, dude. They just.
They're overpopulated with dogs and cats because of that.
Well, and alligators too.
And alligators, but the dogs and cats, the ones that lived. No one took them in. What are you supposed to do? You thought you lost your dog and cat. They're living out in the woods now.
Right.
And they have sex and reproduce. So now
it's I mean, dogs are going to be dogs, dude. But no, when we were in Florida, I looked up an article. Like, apparently some girl, or some little kid, like a girl, I think, a little girl, got fucking attacked by an alligator at Disney World.
Oh,
like,
really?
I don't know what part. We didn't hear about it. I didn't want to ask about it because, like...
But that's crazy because Disney World's pretty safe. I'm a big fan of, like, watching these videos. And, like... These YouTube videos about like Disney World, about how they set it up, how it was supposed to be originally. You know, it was supposed to be originally here, yeah. But then they changed it. And
they said it was supposed to be like outside of Kirksville or something.
Yeah, but the way that they planned it, Disney did. I mean, their system for trash is whole next level. So they planned it. They made it so that it was safe. So I don't know how a girl gets eaten.
And maybe
you're nowhere near the water. First of all,
well, you are.
Well, not unsafe water. It's mostly water that's controlled by them, right? With those boats and stuff.
Well, yeah, but like I was thinking about it too, like while we were there, and like on the ferry over to Magic Kingdom, that's a whole bayou. Like that's a whole swamp, right? Like in between there. So like maybe she fell in, and maybe an alligator was just around. I mean, you don't know, dude. Like the most time they spend underwater, you can't fucking tell her there. So maybe that happened. Maybe she wasn't supposed to be somewhere and she went there. Like, you know, it's who knows? I didn't get to figure out the whole article.
I'm not saying anything bad about kids, but kids these days are not as smart as they used to be. I feel.
Dude, there's an old saying. That I like to say. Man, fuck those kids. I'm just kidding. But yeah, you're right, man. I mean, if people are careless, their parents are on their phone, their daughter falls in the fucking lake, and then what happens? Alligator gets it, you know. Like
I go by the philosophy: you play stupid games and win stupid prizes.
Dude, I'm a Darwinist. So, like, I believe in natural selection. Hey. Like, dude, if you're gonna be the guy that wants to fucking do parkour off the fucking Burj Khalifa and you die, I mean, hey man, you kind of get what you get. You know, it is what it is.
Have you seen those like people were like sharing these pages about this parkour person climbing up a tower and slipping? It's like, oh my god, he was gone too young. He's playing with fire. Dude. I mean, they enjoy their life. Don't get me wrong. They know that this is not happening. It's like climbing Everest. You take on some type of risk knowing that something could happen. And your body might not get recovered.
Fish, dude.
What?
It's like eating pufferfish.
Oh, yeah.
There's an inherent risk there, dude. And, like, could it be a great meal? Yeah, man, I'm sure. I'm sure people eat it often over there, right? But, like, there's a risk. There's a 2% or whatever the ratio is. There's a 2% chance of probability that you're going to fucking get sick.
I mean, it happens. I mean, when people skydive, I mean, it just happens. Their parachute just doesn't open. You find that out one time, and
that's it.
You have the rest of your life to think about it.
You know, I've said this on the podcast before. I had a math teacher, and I was pretty. I mean, fuck, you knew me in high school. I was kind of a mess in high school, I should say. But
you're interesting.
Yeah, for sure. But no, my teacher in high school asked me one time. He was like, Nate, we're going to talk about probability. He was like, if I gave you an option, he's like, if I gave you a box and either 50% chance it's $10 billion or 50% chance it's a bomb and you blow up, what would you do? I said, are you fucking kidding? I'm like, I'd open it twice. I was like, listen, buddy. I said, either I'm going to have $20 billion or everything that matters doesn't matter anymore.
Exactly.
I was like, it's a win fucking win.
Yeah.
Like, either I have $20 billion and everything that matters doesn't matter anymore because I can do whatever I want, or I die. And everything that doesn't matter, or everything that matters, Doesn't matter anymore.
I mean, when you think about it, though,
he was not expecting an answer.
With more money comes more problems sometimes. I'm not saying money always causes issues, but
money always causes issues.
It can cause fake people to surround you, and that's what causes drama. You don't really know who your real friends are when you have money, and that's what happens with people win the lottery. That there's a philosophy, I don't know about if I should say it, but like they say, I mean, that's why you don't give poor people money, because they don't know how to spend it. When people that play the lottery that have never had any money, most of them they either OD on drugs or they
it's the same with athletes,
spend all their fucking money.
It's the same with athletes. It's the same with athletes, dude. Because a lot of athletes, color is irrelevant here. It's all about athletes. Most athletes have the fucking beard. Most athletes come from poverty or lower income houses. They get these fat contracts, and what happens? I think the average running back goes broke after their career in 4 years.
Oh,
quarterbacks, though, for some reason, quarterbacks and I think linemen, like people on the line, for some reason, just have a better track record of. And their careers are typically longer, anyways. Like you could be a lineman in the NFL for 15 years, no problem, as long as you're staying healthy and mobile. Yeah. But like running backs have an average career of like 6-7 years, and then afterwards you're fucking broke because
and you can't do anything because you don't have a good college education. Well, what'd you go for college for? Sports management or communicate?
Yeah.
Not talking bad about sports management or anything, but they go for degrees.
Well, they rely on endorsements at that point, right? They rely on endorsements and paid advertising, which
until they fuck that up.
Well, yeah, until something happens, or
they do drunk driving, or
anything,
I mean, they slept.
A PR stunt happens that fucks them over, and now they're out of the game.
When you're in the public eye, one little fuck up can ruin everything. Tiger Woods lost his endorsement to Nike.
Oh yeah,
for sleeping with the.
It was like $400 million deal.
I mean, that's not. I mean,
you know what I will say though? I used to be a big LeBron fan. Now I don't like him so much because I hate when athletes get political. Like I watch sports to get away from it, to get away from politics, to get away from the bullshit. I want to see you dominate, kick ass in a sport that I love and care about, which I love basketball, right? Yeah. So like, back in the day, I will say this about LeBron James. That man has been in the public eye for over 20 years, and that dude has never even pissed on the toilet seat. That dude has just been, and he's worth $1 billion. Yeah. He's probably, he might go down as the greatest basketball player of all time. I don't know, but like, dude. He's never had any scandals. He's never had any.
And that's rare.
He's never cheated on Savannah.
One of the greats, Michael Jordan. He had that scandal. That's why he had to go to baseball because he was betting. He was betting.
For the record, there's no proof of that, Michael Jordan. I'm on your side. There's no proof of that.
That's conspiracy.
That is what they say, though. They also say that they killed his dad because of that. That is a real thing. The mob killed his dad because he owed him, whatever. Yep. Once again, Michael Jordan, if you ever watch this, I don't know, dude. I'm on your side.
You're one
whatever,
of
man.
Still.
Go Bulls.
I still loved him in baseball, too.
But exactly. But he made a pivot. I mean, Kobe Bryant, God rest his soul. I love fucking Kobe Bryant. He had that rape allegation. Yeah.
Do you know who hasn't also? Or who has been good? Shaquille O'Neal's been.
It's different with Shaq, though. It's different with Shaq because Shaq had great parents. Shaq's mom and dad fucking kicked his ass whenever he needed to. Shaq also, like, I've watched a lot of interviews with Shaq, and he's got a really interesting story. Well, obviously, hold on, real quick, disclaimer here. Shaq is the greatest big fucking man of all time. Shaq is the best center of all time. Yes, I don't give a fuck what anybody says. Anyways, Shaq blew a lot of his money young. Learned his lesson. Shaq's a very smart man. He blew a lot of his money young, and then what did he do? He learned from that. I was like, okay, great. Every year now I'm going to take 50-60% of it and invest it in X. He owns so many brands. He owns the rights to Elvis Presley.
The endorsements.
It's the rights.
Yes.
He owns the rights to Elvis Presley. He owns the right to Marilyn Monroe. He owns the right to JCPenney. He owns like fucking 40.
He does Icy Hot commercials.
Gold Bonds, Icy Hot, The General.
Yeah.
The insurance. The dude is everywhere, man. You cannot go on TV. Like we don't have cable. We use streaming services. But you cannot go through if I just put my TV on one channel, let's say I had cable, you would see at least 2 Shaq commercials a day.
I mean, he's also an actor too. Wasn't he in Kazam or something like that?
He was in Kazam, which people like to say was Mandela effect and wasn't real.
In Scary Movie, he was in Scary Movie with Dr. Phil.
Yeah,
you remember that? That was
in the
so
Saw
great.
Scene.
Yes, man, that was a classic scene.
He was also in a movie that I like, starring Tom Green, called Freddy Got Fingered. If you haven't seen it, it's so funny. He's talking to his wife. He's like,
Tom Green.
He's like, can he do you like this? And he's fucking air humping the dude. Shaq's a wild man.
Tom Green was a wild guy when he was humping the dead moose.
But there you go. That's another PR thing, though, right? Like, he's an actor, so it's a little different. But, these athletes, dude, and even poor people, man. Like, you give poor people money without proper guidance. People of low income.
They don't know how to spend their money.
I'm a living representation of that, man. Like, I've made over 6 figures the last 3-4 years of my life, and like, dude, I came from nothing. You know, dude, we didn't have fucking shit for money wise, right? Like, you know, it wasn't like we were living on the streets. You know, it's a bit close to that for sure. But like, the point that I'm trying to make, dude, is like when I first started making like 6 figures my first time at like 23. Dude, I'd piss away money like it was going out of style. You know what I mean? Now I'm a little more conservative in that regard. And, you know, I'm a little more mindful of my money and, like, where it goes. And I have investments and things set up to keep the blood flowing. But, like, dude, I'm a living example of that. You give a fucking poor guy money, and what does he do? I was buying shit that I don't need. I bought 2 motorcycles. Why 2? I don't know. I like them both.
But you've learned on that.
Yeah.
When you win the lottery, they have so much money that there's no way to. They can't. It's not like they're gonna win the lottery again. So
come
like,
on, could you imagine?
Oh, dude, you died twice. I mean, if they did. But like, you earned your next month. You earned your X amount of money. Then next year, you're like, fuck, I can't spend all my money again.
Well,
I can spend half of it. But...
I looked at it and I realized that I spent $65,000 that year on bullshit. And I did my taxes and I was like, huh, this is weird. I made $115K this year, but I only have like $11K in the bank. Taxes fucked me at $40,000. Where'd the rest of it go? I was like, oh, bullshit. I was like, oh, okay. You know, that makes good sense. That was the same year that I went to, right when Celeste and I started dating, I wanted to impress her. I got drunk at Westport Social. And I told the bartender I want to buy everybody in there a drink. There's like 400 people in there. You know what my fucking bar tab was, dude?
I couldn't imagine.
And you know what Celeste said? She goes, you're a fucking idiot for doing that. Like, she wasn't impressed.
But the whole money thing, it's the whole philosophy. You give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. You teach a man to fish.
Oh, dude, 100%.
He's fed for the rest of his life.
100%, I mean, dude.
I love helping people out. I mean, I work at food banks. I love giving back to community. But I'm not just gonna give a person money and like hope that they spend it on the right thing. I couldn't trust. I'll buy you food rather than give you a $100 bill. I'd rather buy you $100 in food.
My father-in-law the other day was telling me a story, and my father-in-law, I don't know if you met him. He's a great man. Very, very smart guy. Fucking hilarious too. Taught me a lot about fishing. Taught me a lot about business, and you know he's helped me kind of learn some things that different part of my life that I don't know about when it comes to professionalism. And so he was telling me that he was at a Quick Trip over there in Fenton by their house, and homeless guy was there, and he says he gets asked for money there often. Well, this guy comes up and goes, "Hey man, I just need some money for this gas tank. I need like $5 or something like that. I'm just trying to get home." And he goes, Harry goes, "Okay." Harry's my father-in-law. He goes, "Okay, I'll go put gas money in your tank. No problem. I'll go in there right now. How much do you need?" He goes, "No man, just give me the money. Just give me the money." Harry's like, "No, seriously, you need gas. If that's what you need, I will go fill your tank up. What do you need? Like, I will fill your fucking tank up." The guy just wants the money.
Yep. It's like,
dude, if you like, you know, my thing too, man, is like if you're in a tough situation, dude, we've all been there, right? If you're in a tough situation, you're begging for money, and you're just be honest with me, dude.
Yeah.
Like, I have friends of mine that are alcoholics that need to drink every day, you know? And, dude, like, if you're an alcoholic and you're homeless and you need to get drunk for your fix, for whatever, like, I hate to be an enabler, dude, but, like, if you're honest with me, like, hey, man, listen, I just need a beer, right? Or I need to get high, or whatever. I'm going to have a lot more understanding than you fucking lying to me. And I'll tell you, my good friend and I, Bobby Johnson, this is probably... Oh, man, I don't know. This is probably 2016. I had a bunch of chips and... No, this is probably 2015 or 14, actually 14, because I graduated from high school. After my graduation party, I had a shit ton of chips and, like, food stuff. So I was like, he's like, "What do you want to do with all this stuff, man?" He's like, "We can't eat this." I was like, "You're right." I was like, "You know what we should do?" I was like, "We should go downtown at night and give it to all the homeless." We drove around all night, giving fucking snacks, you know, chips, little sandwiches, water bottles, soda, Gatorade, the whole 9 yards, to all these homeless people. And I would say like 90% of the homeless people were like really, really grateful for it, and it was really, really, really cool about it, and they were really receptive to it. But that 10% was like, "You have any money?" I was like, "Nah, man." I'm like, "I'm trying to give you a meal. Like, I'm trying to give you a meal. When's the last time you ate?" "Well, if you don't have the money, I don't want anything."
Oh yeah, and it's like it's like, what? You'd rather not have anything? You're trying to curse me out, and I'm trying to help. It's.
Dude, if I was homeless, man, and if I was like,
can't be choosers.
That's what I'm saying. But if I was homeless and like somebody was like, "Hey, dude, like, I don't want to give you money because I don't know what you do with it, but like, I want to buy you a meal," I'd be all about it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'd be like, dude, thank you so much. Even if I didn't want it, I would still take the food because like you still don't know when your next meal is gonna be.
Oh, whenever I have like food in my car, like I'm just randomly have food. Like the other day, I had a full box of crackers in my car. Saw a lady inside the road asking for money. I'm like, hey, we want this crackers. She had no issue taking it. I was like, that's awesome. I'm glad that she's actually going to put it to use. It's nice.
Yeah.
I watch these videos on YouTube of these people going up to food trucks and buying like 100 hot dogs or 100 tacos.
I saw that video today. The hot dog vendor was like, "Are you serious? I can't fucking do this right now." He's like, "Come back in an hour."
Yeah, and then they give them extra stuff.
Yeah,
I'm hoping to initially, hopefully, touch people enough that I can do that too with this page. I can go to a restaurant or something. Hey, I'm Derek. I'm gonna be doing this. Actually, get that help. I want to get my name out. I want to with my page. I want to try to give back.
Yeah,
that's
so
my main.
One place you should go, Derek, is there's a restaurant here in town called Super Smokers. You ever heard of it?
Oh yeah.
You been there before?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so I know the owner, Jeff. He's actually a really, really sweet guy. Very good guy. Helps the community out a lot. Does a lot. He owns a couple restaurants. On his door, it actually said you should do a review on them actually, and get their jalapeno cornbread because it's fucking it's Prime City. But so no, on his door he goes I can't remember what the sign says verbatim, but pretty much the overall message is like if you're having a hard time paying for your meal, tell us. We'll cover you. We have money set aside every month for this. So if some homeless guy or somebody maybe struggling a bit, maybe the meal was $45 and they only have $30. Like Jeff is the nicest guy. Where he'll be like, hey, listen.
He's not gonna let someone go hungry.
We got you. Yeah, he's not gonna let somebody go hungry. We'll get you.
That's the worst thing. I mean, going hungry. I mean, I've been fortunate enough not to have to go hungry, but like I've going to CBC. We volunteered at a lot of homeless shelters. I went to Chicago and did a senior project. Worked in a homeless shelter for 4 or 5 days. Ate nothing but vegetarian food. To be grateful. No, hey man, I'm lucky to have meat every time I can get it. And just seeing how hard that is, man, it's crazy. I've never had to worry about food, but seeing that these people are in a homeless shelter and other homeless people are stealing from them,
right?
And they're caught next to them,
right?
I mean, that's a sad thing. Like, why put someone in a position like when you guys are both in that position? Why put someone worse off?
Oh yeah, dude. Like why? Like it always reminds me of that mental image or that meme that you've probably seen where it's like the guys that are like I'm trying to remember what exactly it is, but it's to your point. Like they're trying to get over this wall, but like instead of like both of them have a short ladder, and then instead of them putting it together, like if they would have put the ladders together, they would have got over the wall.
They're working for themselves,
right? But they're working for themselves because like, oh, this is my ladder, fuck you, But like if they would have put the ladders together.
Oh yeah, dude. I'm the biggest thing of it takes a village, man.
It always does.
It takes a village
in anything.
And if you surround yourself with the right people, that's the main thing too. Surrounding yourself with the right people. You gotta surround yourself with people who you want to be. Like you want to be like that person because you admire their morals or what they do. That's who you'll become. If you hang out with losers, you're gonna become a loser.
I've always believed you're the average of the 5 people you associate yourself with, man. And like if you associate yourself with 5 drug addicts, dude, chances are you're going to be a drug addict, man. If you associate yourself with 5 millionaires, you're going to be the 6th.
Yeah, and doesn't matter if you're in the drug addict aspect, doesn't matter if you're the least druggiest of the drug addicts, you're still not in a good position. You can't say I'm better than everyone when you're still doing bad.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's what I feel like our society, our American society has of, oh, at least I'm not doing that. At least I'm not that bad. Dude, that person.
It's not a very good thing to be the least dirtiest person in the mud pit.
Yeah,
exactly. You're still in the fucking mud pit.
Exactly.
I've always
get out of there, then you can talk.
Right, like dude, like if you're in the mud pit with them, man, like it doesn't matter if you're covered from head to toe and shit or just in your knees and shit, dude. Like you're still covered in shit. Like figure out your situation.
Yeah. No one's better than anyone else. I mean, that's another thing. We are different, but once you start treating people with like, oh, you're better than them, then you're better than someone. That's when you lose yourself and become like, I feel like a loser in a way.
I completely agree. For a long time, I always felt like I had something to prove, right? And like there was a chip on my shoulder, and I always felt like it was me against the world, and like I was in competition with everybody. And when I realized, like, dude, like it doesn't matter what everybody else does, dude. As long as like you as an individual are happy. Whenever I had that realization, my life got so much better because I stopped competing with others. And I started competing with myself.
Yeah.
Right? So, like, I started every day trying to be the best version of myself in some category. So, what did that do? That humbled me quite a bit. That knocked down my ego tremendously, which anybody knows me knew I had a massive ego. And it was, if you know me back then, re-meet me because I'm a different person. I said that multiple times, but it's so true. So, you know, like, when I had that realization, like, dude, like, who cares what this person's doing, that person's doing? It should never be an external comparison. It should always be an internal comparison.
Yes.
Like, what have I done today to make myself better? Am I being better than I was yesterday?
That's when you're able to actually see growth, too. I mean,
yeah.
If you're trying to compare yourself to other people, how do you know what they're actually doing behind closed curtains?
Well, yeah, dude, because social media is only highlight reel, right?
Exactly.
So, like, if I was playing sports right now, right, and I saw, like, you ever watching film for sports, I'm sure, right? You don't watch highlight reels of those fucking guys. You watch everything. You watch a full game, right, to see the good, bad, and the ugly.
Yes.
But, like, dude, if I'm going up against a guy and all I see is this fucking highlight reel, I'm like, fuck, I'm going to get my fucking shit rocked. Like, this is not good. But if I watch every second and every play, every minute of the game, now I know, oh, okay, I'm a little more prepared. So like you said, you don't see everything behind closed door. These couples out there, let's say you're in a relationship and you're trying to compare, right? And you see a couple that's traveling and they're happy. Okay, great. Behind the scenes, he beats his shit out of her every month. Or she cheats on him, or whatever the hell it is, right? Like, there's all these variables that go into life that people don't always share.
Yeah.
The only person you truly know 100% about is yourself. Most of the time, I like to think. But
some people are still finding themselves out.
I find stuff about myself all the time, so I shouldn't say that. But, like, I would say you probably know yourself better than most people.
I mean, you should. You should. And if you don't know yourself better than anyone, you shouldn't be with it. You shouldn't be in a relationship. I mean, if you can't love yourself, you can't love anyone else. So.
100%, man. 100%. And I was that way for a long time, man. Like, after my last relationship, I had a lot of internal things I needed to work out, and I believe I did for the most part. And then I found a healthy, strong relationship, and now we're married. 4 years later-ish, we're married, right? So to your point, you're so right, man. Like, you can't fix somebody else unless you're that surgeon. Unless you're that surgeon that did the surgery on himself. You can't fix somebody else, man, if you need to fix him first.
Yeah.
It's not how it works, man.
It's you're clashing. It's always in the clash. It's uphill battle, and those, how those are. You never want to be in an uphill battle. You always lose. Oh, you're always winded by the time you get to the top. Doesn't matter if you got to the top.
Listen, Anakin, I have the high ground, all right? And it's a fucking, look what happened there.
Yeah.
Oh, man. So what else, man? What else is going on? Obviously, we covered quite a bit on your platform. Actually, hold on. Before we jump to whatever the fuck we're about to jump to, I have an idea for you for your platform.
Okay.
You know what you should do eventually? When you get a large user enough base, you should develop an app. And make it like, obviously, it'd be like a Yelp, but much better, right? So, like, make an app, and I can help you with this, of course. Make an app, and what you should do is, like, have a list of categories on there. So, like, somebody would type in their zip code, and they could type in the radius, say 63025, Eureka, 30-mile radius, right? And then you could type in categories, like, is this a romantic date night? Is this a casual? Is this a night out with the boys? Is this a by-yourself adventure? And then you go to subcategories. What do you like to do? Is this do you like arcade bars? Do you like DJ bars? Do you like contemporary bars? Or do you like the old greasy spoons? You know what I mean? Like, you could have all these categories in there. And then what happens is they can see your review, okay? They can see the honest Derek's take on this place because you've been there. And then it's, a breakdown of the business and what they can expect. Maybe some pictures.
Yes. And I have a great photographer for that. I mean, she's been taking these pictures.
She's not that good, man.
Well, she's affordable, so.
I will agree with that. She did my company's big conference view every year, man. She killed it.
Oh yeah, she's amazing. I mean, we went to that Tim Burton. We went to this one pop-up bar.
Oh, you weren't supposed to say names.
I'm not saying that name because I don't want to give it any
good cred.
Yeah, but we went there and the people were like, "Wow, these pictures do this too much justice." I mean, it didn't look like it was in the basement. It didn't look like it was in this cramped little hole in the wall. Yeah. So she works the magic. So I think the pictures are important and also the honesty.
Yeah, for sure. And people sometimes when they go to restaurants, they don't know what to expect. And I'm sure some people also want to kind of get their own feel for it. That's cool. But dude, it wouldn't be bad to have a lay of the land. Before you go. Like, let's say
it's
you
like
go
a trailer almost, or
yeah,
like what you read. Like the back of the book before you read the actual book.
Summary.
Yeah.
What is that actually called? It's not called summary.
I forgot what I don't even.
Well, you're right though. Yeah.
Yes.
So most people that read books, myself included, I always read the back. just to see what I can at least expect or look forward to.
Yeah.
You know? So, like, I completely agree with you. But I think once your user base gets to that level there, I think you would kill it in that category. I know I would be a user because, like I said, in my relationship, that's not a bad price for me to say. In my relationship, man, like, we always have a hard time figuring out where to go. You know, and what happens? We end up in the same fucking spot. And, like, we have a good time, of course. But, like, I would love to be a little more adventurous and try things out. Hidden gems, you know.
But it's the risk, I feel like.
Yeah.
You don't want it to be bad, right?
Well, there's been many places, Derek, that Celeste and I have tried on a whim, and it's been shit. Don't get me wrong. Like, dude, there's been places that we've tried that have not been good. But that's just the name of the game, dude. That's the risk that you play. And we know, though. Well, you know, and I've always been a firm believer of this. Like, I worked in food industry in high school. I don't care how bad the shit is, dude. I always tip 20% plus, right? But I just won't go back. Like, if it's shitty, I just won't go back. Mm-hmm. Like, it's not the server's fault, per se. Now, if the server gives me dirty service.
If it's bad service, then
I still will tip 20%, but, you know, I just won't be back, you know? And that's how you got to do it, man. Like, if you just go and give it a fair shot and see what happens.
Yeah, I'm like I said, I eat all types of food. It's not like I just like American food or Italian food. I'll eat anything. I love Caribbean food. I love Jamaican. I love Chinese. I mean, like I said, I've had cow tongue in the Amazon rainforest. I've been to South Africa where people were cooking goat's heads and they were eating the brain.
That's wild.
I've had blood sausage, pudding.
I've had blood sausage.
It's so good.
Very good. You ever had tripe?
Yes, I've had tripe. I mean, it's unique.
I really like tripe.
I'm a big fan of trying new stuff. If I haven't heard it, chances are I might at least try it. I'm gonna put it in my mouth and try it. I mean, it's food. Someone eats it, right?
Yeah,
so I mean, it can't
does.
be like I said. Anthony Bourdain, he's a big influencer. I mean, he was a big influencer on me.
God rest him.
Yeah, but like I have the tattoo. It says, "Be a traveler, not a tourist." I don't like to do the touristy shit. If I have the opportunity, I will eat in someone's house, and I'll eat with a family, a local family, just to have their actual home cooked meal. I mean, I'd rather do that. I don't want to wait in the line on everything. Do what everyone's doing. I want to do the stuff that's not on the menu. I like the off menu stuff. You know.
I'm the worst, man. I am such a fucking tourist. I hate to say it. And Celeste hates traveling with me, dude, because of that. Like, I want to go to all the tourist traps. I want to go see, you know, whatever the most bullshit is, dude. I don't know. I just like touristy shit.
I'm not a fan. My mom, when I was backpacking Europe, she left multiple notes in my bag for me, and about two or three of them said, "Don't be impulsive," because I'm a very impulsive person when I'm by myself. I mean, I like doing new shit. I'm not afraid to do new shit, especially by myself. I mean, I don't care what it is. If I find it interesting, I'm gonna do it.
So you commonly eaten at restaurants, or ate at restaurants by yourself?
Oh yeah, I go. I mean, I when I was single, I used to go to the pumpkin patch by myself.
You're a wild man.
Yeah, I would go to the corn maze. I would take pictures by myself.
What if you get lost? You get no help.
I found my way eventually.
You ever go to a movie theater by yourself?
Oh yeah.
You're a wild man.
I used to do. I go on hikes by myself. I geocache by myself.
I've done many hikes by myself. That's something that's a little more personal to me that I like to do by myself.
I mean,
I've hunted by myself before.
Going to St. Joe State Park, going dirt biking. I mean, that's
different though. I rode my motorcycle by myself. You know, not with a group, so it's different in that regard. But like, dude, it takes a. I would tell you what right now. Biggest dude in the room come up to me and talk shit, and I'm gonna swing back at him. I would not.
I've seen it. I've definitely seen it. Folks, I can vouch for that.
I will not go to a movie theater by myself. There's no way, dude. There's no way. I would just feel so out of place, so weird. You go to an amusement park by yourself.
I would. I mean, I've gone to like rock concerts by myself, man.
Oh, dude, now I know you must, dude.
I've gone.
That's a fucking real risk, dude.
I mean, it's. I take risks. When I got to London, as soon as I got to London, I unpacked my stuff in my hostel and was walking the streets at night. Didn't know anywhere I was going. I was just walking and enjoying the views. Given that was kind of a sketchy moment because I passed a guy, he had his hood up and everything, and I heard him turn around and I knew he was following me. And out there, they try to they try to get they aim for tourists. They saw me come out of my household. I'm like, all right, well, being an American, I'm not afraid of confrontation.
No, definitely.
I mean,
our country was born on confrontation.
I mean, I know that if first of all, if you confront the person, most likely they're gonna back down because they're afraid. They're not expecting you to react.
You're expecting to be an easy target.
Oh yeah.
They're wanting you to submit, but
I turned around. I told him, I said, if you have a fucking problem, man, I'll end it right now. He looks at me and he's like, no sir. Turns around, walks the other way. So I knew that he was trying to target me, and I'm like, you gotta do what you gotta do. You can't be afraid.
You did the right thing, man.
Well, I mean, if I just act, that's one thing I learned, not to be a tourist. Don't be on your phone looking around on a map. If you need to look, if you're lost, go into a restaurant or a grocery store and go in there in a public scene and look at your phone. Because if you're on the street looking around like you don't know the place,
it's so obvious.
There are people on target you, and you will get in trouble. That's how you'll get.
A little different. I've never been to Europe. I've only been to Mexico. I've never left the country other than Mexico, which is right below us. So. Like, I'm carrying everywhere I go.
Yeah.
So, like, if somebody wants that, they can go ahead and good luck. I mean, it is what it is, dude. If I die in that fucking confrontation, that person's dying too.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
but you're in a different country, you don't have that access to that weaponry. But you're right. But I can't tell you how many times I've been, like, downtown or somewhere, and you know they're tourists because they're so obvious, right? And, like, when I mean, like, I'm a tourist, I like going to the touristy places, but, like, I'm not that guy that's so oblivious. You know me, I'm like fucking alert. I'm looking around the whole time.
Yeah. So situational awareness. That's the one thing.
My situational awareness is to the roof. I know where the exits are. I already have a game plan. Whenever Celeste and I go to a fucking movie theater, I'm already thinking in my head like, okay, if this guy in this row turns around, pulls a gun out, I'm gonna blow his fucking brains out here. Like I already have a plan for.
It's like when you go in restaurants too. You look for the exits. You want to make sure that you're.
I
like sitting back. I don't like sitting my back to the front door.
My back is always to the wall, dude.
If someone's gonna react, who's not be you or your girl? You or your wife? It's not be you.
Dude, you might have heard this quote, but I've heard this quote and I've lived by it, dude. I have a plan. Every room I go into, no matter how many people, I have a plan to kill everybody in that room.
I mean, you can't.
And that sounds super cynical and super crazy.
But you're not going in there to try to, but it's just in case. I mean,
yeah, and I'm a pretty docile guy, right? Like I'm the last person to fucking go up to you and just start some shit for no reason, right?
Yeah.
I'll voice my opinion, but like, dude, like I'm not trying to get in a competition with anybody. But like every room I go into, I have a fucking plan.
Yeah.
Like I'm ready to go.
If something happens, you can solve it, and that's the one thing that's one big thing when you're backpacking in Europe by yourself. I mean, you have to have situational awareness. You have to know where you're going and make a plan. You have to be aware. You can't just walk around like
and wing it.
No, I mean it's.
What's how you get killed? How you get lost? How you get
just
killed?
Just going just beat bopping along. You can't. This is not the United. You can't even do that. You can't do that in You can't do that in St. Louis City. You can't just beat bop around
because you go down the wrong street and it's it.
You'll get your ass clapped. Yeah, you will get caught. I mean, it's.
And St. Louis is so weird, man. Where like one street could be like, for example, where I grew up, right? When I lived off Compton in Virginia, or excuse me, Eichelberger in Virginia. Okay, my street was like a medium street. Like there'd be crime that happened, but like. It wasn't that bad. We knew most people there. It was cool, right? A street over, war zone. You go down it, you're fucking. It's dangerous, right?
Right.
A street up the way, $400,000 homes. Like back then, this is 20 years ago, right? Back then, and it's all just one big melting pot of fuckery, right?
Yeah.
And like one street is a death trap, and the other street is, the best place to raise your family, right?
Yeah.
Like it's just wild how that is, dude. But you're right. You have to have a plan, dude, and that goes in anything in life. Not just traveling, like I said earlier.
I think that's how this whole podcast started, about the plan. Always make sure you have a plan. For a business, that's how, if you have a well-executed plan, you're going to be successful.
Yeah, absolutely. And that goes back to, like, my key principles, right? So, like, I try to talk to people that are physically fit, mentally fit, financially fit, or spiritually fit, right? So, you're a pretty physically fit guy. You exercise. You eat right. You eat the best of you can, I'm sure, Second to that, dude, you're mentally sound. Like, dude, somebody who goes to a movie theater by themselves, goes to fucking concerts by themselves, their mental fortitude has to be rock hard. Like, dude, I like to think of myself as a pretty mentally sound guy. You got me beat by eons, man. There's no way in fucking hell I'm ever going to a concert by myself.
See, I don't think that's weird. I don't know how that's weird. I have told plenty of people that, I've eaten at this restaurant by myself. And they're like, oh, who have you taken here? I'm like, I've eaten by myself. Like, wait, what?
I don't think I have ever ate at a restaurant by myself.
It's actually, just doing some time. I mean, eating is a relaxing part of your life, a relaxing part of your day, right?
You know
and
that Anthony Bourdain quote.
I mean, there's so many.
The long one. It was like, eat by yourself, have the drink, get the pasta or get whatever, have the dessert, get another drink, like whatever you do.
Eat with that. It was eat with that family.
Yeah.
That's the part. Yeah,
that's a huge, awesome quote that I wish I would probably abide to.
That's what stuck with me ever since watching him do. He did everything by himself, man. And even though he didn't really have the.
Well, he really did do everything by himself.
He did.
Well, he had a crew with him.
But just to help him film. I
mean,
you
think he was with them all the time? Hell no.
No.
He's probably out doing his own deal.
You know about his life before he actually got super famous, right?
Yeah,
him being a heroin addict and a chef, being a great chef. But him being a heroin addict, he was smoking opium over in China and doing all this stuff that he was doing in the Anthony Bourdain show, in his show.
Yeah.
Without the cameras. That's pretty cool. I like that. Without cameras, without any acknowledgement of being famous.
Right.
He was doing it for himself. And that's why back to Europe. I quit my job. Now I'm like, man, I went to school. I've been to school for most of my life. I got my MBA. Been working. Worked all throughout my college career. I'm like, I need a break. I quit my job in foods and back to Europe.
Where were you at?
I was with Resource One, so I was selling foods, private labels.
I know what that is.
Yeah, so I mean, I love that third generation food. My grandpa's food, my mom's food. Yeah. So it just only came naturally.
Your mom's pretty high up too in that company.
Oh yeah, my mom's executive sales director in Conagra, one of the biggest food manufacturers in the United States. Actually, a second one.
Next to who, like Dot?
Dot Foods. There's.
US.
I've been U.S.
U.S. food's pretty big.
I've been out of the food game for years now. But
what was that industry like?
It's consistent. I mean, when COVID hit, I'm telling you right now, that's the most money we made because we got into hand sanitizers and paper products. And you know how hard it was to find toilet paper, paper towels, and hand sanitizer. We were partnering up with O'Fallon Brewery. They were making hand sanitizer.
I remember that. I remember hearing that, like, it was kind of like what they did in World War II. You know, like all these toy factories turned into bomb factories. Yeah. Man, I'll tell you, I can't wait. You know, obviously Celeste and I are trying to work on some kids now. I can't wait to be like 65 years old and my kids read history books and textbooks and they're asking Grandpa Nate, or Grandpa Lechner, whatever the hell I am, or Papa, whatever the fuck I am at that point. Hopefully, Papa, that'd be cool. But, you know, they're asking me, what was the pandemic like? I'm like, dude, it was a lot of bullshit. I was like,
a lot of people fight over toilet paper.
I was like, everybody was fucking dumb. We took these vaccines that didn't do anything for us. I was like, everything was really just an inconvenience. Like, I was like, we wanted to go to bars and have fun, but we couldn't. I was like, a couple of my birthdays sucked. Like, I was like, they're like, so it wasn't like everybody you knew died? I was like, no, everybody I knew was just bored and pissed off. Like, everybody was just committing crimes. Like, there was nothing to do.
And government was giving out free money, which was making people even more lazy.
Yeah, dude.
Oh, my God. There was an influx of people not working. Unemployment.
Did you take the stimmies?
They were giving to me. I was a student. I was a full-time student, so...
I didn't get the stimmies.
Of course, I got everything I could.
I didn't get the stimmies because I made too much. If you made over $75K, you didn't get it.
Well, being a full-time student, I got stimmies.
Well, rightfully so. I mean, you don't have an income-supporting thing to do.
I was still working, too. But not... I wasn't making as much as I would now.
Yeah, you were making $75K at that point. As a student. You're a student that makes $75K. You're doing something right.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, those influencers... I don't know if you follow rap, but Lil Mabu, he's a rapper. I'm not plugging him, but he's going to school and he's rapping in his dorm, which, hey, he's still going to school. He's doing his shit.
You know what? The dude has a backup plan.
Yes.
Because, like, if his rap career doesn't pan out, hey, I don't know who the fucking guy is, but, like, I hope it works out for him. I hope he makes $1 billion, whatever. I don't wish no success on anybody. I wish everybody to be super successful. But, like, if it doesn't work out,
he's a backup.
At least he has a backup plan.
It's not like these football players or
unless
some of these rappers.
Unless he's getting a degree in communication or something.
I hope not.
That's so funny, man. Who's that? Larry Fitzgerald. Or no, Richard Sherman. You remember him? The corner from Seahawks? Big shit-talking guy. I never was a fan of him, but he's a super talented guy. I don't know who he plays for now, even if he still does. But the motherfucker has a master's degree in communication.
And I was really finished? Why'd you finish? Why would you really finish your master's in communication?
But I mean, like, my point being is like, hey, at least if shit, I'm not a fan of Richard Sherman, but at least if shit hit the fan, he's got a master's degree and he can get a 6-figure job somewhere.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm not a Seahawks fan, not a Richard Sherman fan, but like at least the dude knows.
At least he's educated.
Yeah, at least he knows a little bit of what he's doing, right?
Yeah.
Like, hey, this football career, like Shaq has his doctorate, I believe.
I wonder if that's like an honorary thing though. You know, like Taylor Swift got like an honorary thing. Yeah,
it could be because he went to LSU and played for him and got. Well, what about
honorary mention, doctor mention?
What about Michael Keaton?
What did he get?
Doctor.
He got his doctorate?
No, I think he got his master's. Sorry. But he went and got his master's from his university he went to. I don't remember the name. I think it was like Purdue or something. But he went and got his master's. And that dude is the best Batman of all time. Like, I don't know.
I mean, being an actor and being an athlete are totally different. I feel like you can act your whole life.
Yeah, and the older you get, you're still gonna get roles.
Robert De Niro, man, the older he got, the more famous he got.
This is the GOAT, man.
Yeah,
I'm not a huge. I love Robert De Niro, as you can tell with my Goodfellas poster over there. I love Robert De Niro, man, but like I've just heard such nasty things about him. I've heard he's just such a dick.
I feel like most famous people are. I mean, most.
But I mean, if you're the greatest Italian American actor of all time, the greatest mobster actor of all time, I mean, maybe you kind of have to be.
It was also his childhood too. He wasn't raised famous.
I don't know too much about his past.
I thought he was raised by like pretty much like a mafia around family. Like
he was raised in Little Italy. In New York, so in the 50s, so it definitely could have been. I don't know.
It was hard times for him. So I mean, but sometimes you need assholes though. I mean. Hey, I've been told I'm an asshole plenty of times, but the world needs assholes. I don't want to name names on the podcast. I want to hurt feelings.
You really have been. Derek, I've known you a long time. Never one time in my life have I thought you were an asshole.
Oh, well, I appreciate that.
There's been many times in my life where I would go to bed and like, fuck, I'm such a prick. But there has never been.
I guess I'm an asshole when I need to be. I never need to be an asshole around you, man.
Derek, once again, I've known you for over 10 years. I've never even seen you pissed off.
I try not to be. I try to be easygoing.
I got pissed off 3 times while you were here. I've been pissed a couple times during this podcast. You just don't know it.
Hey, at least you're good at holding it.
I'm pissed
until you're not, right?
I'm pissed right now.
The flame's not going.
Yeah, dude, this is fucking oiled and inked up paper. This should be lighting up like a fucking match. Anyways, but so sorry for the little rant there, dude. That's a riot. Let me ask you this, dude. Like, so really. Like, what do you really want to do, man? Like, I know you work in an IT caliber now. Obviously, this platform and your venture of what you're doing is fucking sweet. And I hope it keeps taking off the way it is. I think it's going pretty good so far.
Oh, yeah.
What do you really want to do, man? Like, what's the end result? We're 27, 28. What's the end result for Derek? Where do you want to end up?
So, I feel like some people in my position, I'm not saying I'm growing significantly with my social platform, but I feel like some people would be like, oh, I want to be a social influencer. I'm not... I see that social influencer lifestyle, and like I think that's not it's not me. I do this because it's fun. It's my passion.
That's why I do this.
So
I love fucking interviewing people.
I'm hoping to have like what you're doing, man. Real estate and own my own businesses. This is my passion project where I can travel to Japan or I can go to Africa and tell people about my experiences because I have the passive income to do that. I'm trying to hustle now so I can make that easy money later on down the road because I busted my ass when I was younger.
Dude, money's just a vehicle, man.
It's
just a vehicle. And you know what I realized too, man? I met this crazy guy, super wealthy. Dude has like $300 million. And I talked to him one time in depth, and he was like, dude, money's not even real. He's like, the concept of money's bullshit.
Dude, it's just like time. I mean, we made it up in order for us to give us some... Our
conversation before the podcast, for everybody, we talked about time. And time's made up, dude. It's all man-made constructs, dude. Because like if I had a guy on his deathbed, okay, or let's not even do that. Let's do the one that's like the starving guy, right? Mm. If this guy was on a desert island and I had a boat and I was like, hey man, I can either send you over $40 billion in cash or 40 days of food. What do you think he's gonna take?
No, if he's smart, he's gonna take the food.
Right. It's all about the value, man.
Yeah. What are you gonna use? The only thing you can use that cash for? Fire. But
yeah.
If you know how to make a fire.
If he already has fire, then fuck it. Like,
yeah.
who cares, right? So, like, whenever he told me, he's like, Nate, as soon as you realize money is literally just a man-made construct and it really has no value, that's when you're going to be wealthy. And I've started looking at money as not like this real tangible thing that, like, dude, you use money to buy shit, okay? Other than that, it has no value, okay? Money doesn't do anything else other than buy things and maybe get you. But what it can do is be a vehicle, right? So you use it as, you use money, I shouldn't say vehicle. I say more so like I could use vehicle, but I'd say more so of a tool, right? So like, if you said, Nate, I need you to fucking build me a house, and I was like, okay, what do you got? He's like, here's a rock and like some sticks. I'm like, okay, well, good luck. But if you're like, Nate, build me a house, here's some hammer and nails, aka the money. I'm gonna be able to build the house a lot easier.
Oh yeah.
So like the end result of like what you're trying to do with money, if you use it the right way, can allow you to do that.
It can help you get to your goal a lot faster.
100%.
A lot easier, a lot faster.
100%. But when people fantasize, idolize, sexualize about money, right? That's when they start getting dangerous.
And that's what I feel like. I'm not saying I'm an old person or, oh my God, back in my day. But I feel like the younger generation wants the money, the easy money. They see these influencers and they're like, oh, I can make these videos and I just want this money. I just want all this money to come to me. That's not how it works. These people, have started from the bottom. They started somewhere. It takes work, and that's what the younger generation, they don't want to put in now. That's a sad thing.
You know what bothers me though about influencers, man? Is like there's some influencers out there that are like actually worth their weight in gold. Like, you know, you get guys like Lex Friedman. You know who that is.
I mean, what about Joe Rogan? I mean, he's not an influencer per se.
No, but he is, though. He's got a huge amount of influence.
But that's not what he's trying to get at. I mean,
no, he wasn't trying to.
He's just trying to get his name out there. He's not trying to get his name out. He's just trying to speak to
he's just having fun, dude.
Yeah. He's doing what he loves.
People like that, like, there's this guy on Instagram. His name is Old Hawkeye. You ever seen him?
Mm-mm.
He does these videos, dude. He lives in, like, Michigan in a van that's, like, retrofitted to be a house with two dogs. Excuse me, I'll show you afterwards, dude. He's one of my favorite influencers.
So he's a homesteader?
He's like a homesteader, but like he just like lives in the woods and like has all he has is his van is retrofitted with like 90s shit. So like he only plays like fucking Super Nintendo and like Sega Genesis and only watches like 90s videos and shit like that. Dude's really, really cool. But anyways, like that guy to me has a lot of value, and I appreciate it because he shows you how to make meals and, you know, survive in the wilderness and shit. It's really cool. A lot of these influencers out there, in my opinion, dude, like, they're only famous and wealthy because Americans are stupid. And, you know, like, the girl with big tits and big ass that can't even hold a conversation because she's brain dead, she just got $40,000 worth of augmentation. Or the fucking guy out there who's brain dead too, but he's just handsome, you know, and fucking has six-pack abs, like, but offers no value to the world or to a conversation. Like, fuck those guys, dude.
Yeah.
Like, I hate that, like, I hate to bash Kim Kardashian, dude, but like to me, like I do not like the Kardashians because they don't offer anything to the society.
And people are envious of that. I mean, I'm not putting down those like people that have the OnlyFans, but some girls just have OnlyFans because they're pretty and do all that stuff.
Yeah, but if, dude, and the same thing for guys, though, right? Like guys are same deal. Like, and if that person, guy or gal, wasn't attractive, they'd be broke.
Yes.
So like
that is true. So they found a platform that works for them.
I guess
but
you could also
say, what happens if that platform wasn't there? What would happen? I mean...
But I guess you could also say, like, maybe... And I don't want to sound hypocritical here, but, like, just thinking about it a little more hindsight. Like, athletes the same way. Like, oh, well, you'd be worthless if you couldn't pitch 100 mile an hour. Or you'd be worthless if you couldn't hit a consistent three. So I guess, maybe in that regard, I need to be a little less critical about it. But, like, I don't really care when, like, I see a celebrity that's literally a fucking idiot that...
Kim Kardashian, let's say, for example.
For example, right? Offers nothing to society.
She put out a sex tape with one rapper, and that's what got her famous or something like that?
Spoiled brat that didn't work hard for her money ever. She is worth billions of dollars now because she got handed money to start with and, you know, fucking did that, right?
Yeah.
But there's a doctor down the street that's a gal who fucking parents were immigrants from wherever. She went to school, got her fucking doctorate degree. Now she's a neuroscientist, making a fraction of what Kim Kardashian is working. Like, why can't that person be influential? Why can't we praise the intelligent and the people that are bettering society in that caliber rather than a girl who just looks hot and fights with her husband on TV?
I think it's because people like to know that. I mean, they like the drama. They like that whole, oh, maybe my life isn't as shitty, or maybe I could have. They like to idealize that lifestyle as well. And I mean, it's ruined a lot of people. I mean, because now a lot of girls idolize Kim Kardashian, and then it's making society. I feel like it's damaging society.
Well, it absolutely is, because we put all the people put all their stock. When I mean stock, I mean like intellectual focus in these people that aren't doing them anything good. You know what I mean? Like,
they see that you can be pretty and you don't have to work for anything else. So that's why.
Yeah, but
I
there's
feel
plenty
like
of pretty people out there that actually work their.
No, yeah, no, but like
like Dolly Parton, for example. Dolly Parton has been hot her whole fucking life. She's hot at 75. Like she's a 10 right now.
Yes, but a lot of people want to be Kim Kardashian that they don't want to work. They don't want to work as much. I mean, Dolly Parton worked. It's not like she was just a pretty face.
Nothing. It became very successful.
So you can't be pretty successful. I'm not saying that, but like a lot of people idolize these influencers because they are good looking and they don't really have. I mean, and they have a backing that people like. I mean, they do stuff that's almost risky. They do stuff that
risque,
or just stuff that people wouldn't do normally. I mean. There are people that are pranksters that call themselves social influencers that are actually hurting people, doing mean stuff to people. I don't find that as a social. I
don't find it funny either, man. Because like I see people all the time, like these guys on YouTube, they'll like go into somebody behind their back and like moan in their ear or something. Dude, you did that to me in a fucking grocery store.
Oh, you smack them.
My reaction, and I'm not trying to sit here and say I'm some fucking tough guy because I'm definitely not. But like, dude, my reaction is not going to be. I'm not saying I'm going to punch the guy in the face. But it's not going to be, like, pleasant. Like,
why do you want a guy moaning in your ear?
Like, what the fuck is your problem? That's what I say. I would turn around and say, what the fuck is your problem? And you do that to the wrong person, like...
There's been times where an influencer was harassing this guy in the mall, and this guy shot him.
There you go.
And the guy actually got away with it because the influencer was harassing him. I'm like, good for him. Dude, I'm happy that guy got away with no manslaughter, no nothing. I mean...
I haven't went in a little bit of time, dude, but most of this year I trained at this MMA gym, and I haven't went since our wedding, so I need to go back. Dude, you fucking do that to one of the guys that go there, you're fucking done.
You're getting put down, man.
If the owner, like one of the coaches there, that was like, I'm not gonna say his name because I don't want to, whatever. But he's a great dude. I recommend that gym, fucking 100%. If you have any questions about it, message me. I'll tell you where to go. Best fucking gym, best staff, best owner ever. Dude, he doesn't look like it, like walking around, but like, dude, if you did that to him. That dude could kill you in 30 different flavors if he wanted to. Like, that dude is a no-joke motherfucker. And you have no clue nowadays. You don't know who's carrying. Oh, yeah. You don't know who's maybe just had a shit day and you do that and you fucking... But, like, once again, to my point, like, why can't we idolize the people that are scholars or the people that are, like, in medical science? Why can't we idolize the people, the fucking hard-working guys, dude? Like,
I think it's because everyone finds that normal. I mean, oh, you're a doctor? Okay, cool. There's been doctors before you. And that's what I think. People aren't... being an influencer is new. They're doing new stuff. They're doing different stuff. It's different than as opposed to, oh yeah, I got my doctorate. That's fucking awesome. I got my master's, and I know getting my master's is hard. So finishing another 2-3 years of school, that sucks. And they don't get enough praise. I mean, during their residency, they're treated like shit. It's a hard life.
They're underpaid.
Yeah, they're not getting paid $200,000 right away.
Yeah, they're working fucking 80 hours a week.
Paying off their debt, too.
Yeah, dealing with the bullshit of, the triage victims in the fucking ER that come in the worst neighborhoods.
But it's not sexy. That's why people don't want to do it. Being a social influencer, that sounds sexy. I mean, it's what sounds fun. I mean, that's why it's a whole social thing. People can see what you can do, so I want to do this instead of this. I want to try to make videos.
You're right, but like, imagine this. Like, I've always believed, like, you can tell the fall of an empire starts to happen when things get like this, right? Oh, yeah. I'm trying to think of what I'm trying to say. When the majority of the population retweet and they follow and they like and they share the dumb shit, but the people who are making these giant medical breakthroughs or scientific breakthroughs, like, dude, when they discovered the first image of a black hole, I had a fucking hard-on for like 2 hours. Like, I was so fucking excited. I was so impressed. I was like, are you fucking serious? Like, this is crazy. The first real image of a black hole, this was theorized until like 5 years ago, and now it's being proven? Like, dude, Einstein's rolling in his grave right now doing backflips. Like, this is crazy, right? And then nobody gives a fuck. It gets like, 2,000 likes, okay? Kim Kardashian fucking a picture in the pool, 50,000 likes.
Oh, dude, more than that.
100,000 fucking reshares. Like, why does Neil deGrasse Tyson have 6 million followers and somebody like that has 100 million? Like, why is that, dude? It bothers the shit out of me. When I see these things and these trends, I look into, like, ancient societies like Rome, right? Like, there was a time when the Roman was in collapse. In their golden era, like, even in Athens and Greece, in their golden era, painters, scholars, great thinkers, philosophers, like, these guys...
Calligraphers, man. Like, people making...
These guys were idolized and thought about very highly, and, like, it was... that was the thing. And then what happened? They started... These more media-style people, right, took over, and that was the people that were making decisions. What bothers me the most is when fucking... it's hilarious. When people in the media become politicians. I'm like, hey, buddy, listen, you've never had to struggle your whole life. Like, even if you did struggle growing up, you've had millions of dollars for the last 20 years.
Yeah.
What are you struggling with now?
Yeah, what do you know about the struggle? Why? What makes you in the position to tell us what we need, or what makes you think you can help us?
That's what I also find funny, too, like, with politicians, like, the career politicians that have been there for fucking 60 years. Like, dude, you don't know dick about the common problems that a 27-year-old in Missouri is facing.
They're in their high house. They're in their high castle looking down on
private
us.
Security, private cars, private planes. But I'm like, dude, you don't know one iota of the fucking issues that a common man in a lower income state, in a lower income budget, in a lower income area is going through. No. Why? Because you've never even seen pictures of it, dude. You don't know.
Do you remember the whole thing when they were trying to forgive student loans and stuff?
What a joke.
I'm like, I happily took out student loans because I knew what I was getting myself into. I took the risk because I knew what I'm going to be doing later on down the road. I'm going to pay off I'm going to pay that off. It's a risk, but you're going to get the rewards later on. It's not payoff. And that's... I don't want to get it back. I don't want to get too far into that.
Yeah, it's the best, dude. Like, is it a good idea? Like, do I want to encourage students to, like... Yeah, dude.
Screw off. Like, but, like... That means you can just borrow money and, like, screw off in classes and not even have to go. And it's like, that's just a waste of all your money. I have ownership in my education, of course I'm going to take it more seriously than getting a free if your parents or someone else is paying for it.
Well, it's the same deal, dude. If your parents buy you a car, you always fucking beat it up. You always you always fucking shit on it and beat the shit out of it. If you 16 years old and you bought that car yourself,
you take care of it. It's your baby.
Nobody's eating that motherfucker.
No.
Nobody's even eating it. Don't even look at it.
Yeah.
Right?
Wipe your shoes before you get in.
Oh, dude, the whole 9 yards, man. But like, to your point,
if you have the responsibility, if you take ownership of it, you're gonna care a lot more about.
100%, dude. 100%. Like, and that's where, like, with me being a homeowner, I've been a homeowner for 3 years. Like, dude, like, I never really gave a shit about, like, what my grandpa's house looked like when I lived there. Like, my room could be dirty for months. I wouldn't care. Now, like, dude, like, at least there's an initiative here. Like, oh, fuck, I own this thing. Like, if something's not right, going out of the way to fix it. Like, for example, my deck stairs, I rebuilt my deck. Or half of my deck. I rebuilt that when we bought the house. And the stairs, I had some stairs that were really loose. And I was like, fuck, dude, like, this can't go on. This is not good. It's not safe, right? Somebody's going to, some kid or somebody we have over, somebody's son or daughter, when they're over here, do whatever, going to go out and play in the yard and fall down the stairs and get hurt.
Yep.
So what did I do last week? Or 2 weeks ago? 3 weeks ago? I went to Home Depot, measured the wood out, got what I needed, and replaced all the steps. Like, it's just things like that, dude, when you take, like you said earlier, when you take ownership of that, and I for a long time, Derek, I was a very, very strong conservative supporter. Now I'm more libertarian because both sides are fucking stupid, in my opinion.
No, dude, I honestly don't feel like there should be a Democratic Republic. There shouldn't be two sides. It should be a common goal. It should be a common...
Right.
Like, it should be a person fighting for, hey, I want to do this. It's not like, oh, I'm a Republican, so I have to believe in this.
Yeah, dude, it shouldn't be so polar.
I've been more leaning on independence. Like, those people that run independence, man.
That's why, like, RFK? So RFK is JFK's grand nephew. He's Bobby Kennedy's son. Okay. RFK is a Democrat, but he's running as an independent.
Really?
Dude, I voted for Trump twice. I'm pretty confident I'm going to vote for him again. If RFK makes the primary, like, and it's Trump versus RFK, I will vote for RFK.
The only thing is, independents never have the support.
Dude,
That's why it's always been Democratic. I think if you look back in all the presidencies, I think there's been one or two variants that is not a Democrat or Republican.
There's been some in the Whig category.
Yes.
The Whig category, the Federalist category.
But that's before it was Democrats,
but
Republicans.
My point being, Derek, is like, listen to this, right? So, like, imagine this. Our government has two wings, okay? We have a Republican wing and a Democrat wing. Have you ever seen a bird that has two wings that don't fly the same direction? No. It wouldn't go anywhere. So my point being is, like,
it's where we're going right now.
It's where we're going right now. So, like, here's my point, right? So, like, you know, we have a Republican in office for 4 years, 8 years if possible. Great, cool. What happens? A Democrat gets elected most of the time next. It's not very often that there's been a Republican, a Democrat, or a Democrat.
Oh, yeah.
It's normally like one or the other, right?
They switch it up because they want.
And the reason why, though, is like that person spends the first 4 years of their fucking campaign, of their fucking presidency, undoing everything. So we just go back and forth in this fucking spin cycle of nonsense. And, dude, like, it's just so, it's not advantageous. Nobody benefits from that but the politicians, but the lobbyists.
It's hurting us.
Absolutely.
We didn't have a Speaker of the House for, how long was that?
Like 2 or 3 weeks.
I mean, there was chaos. It was chaos.
It's embarrassing, dude.
And there's other countries. I mean, I understand why people in France hate it. I mean,
the
French hate us. You know that, right?
Oh, for sure. Most European countries do hate us.
Yeah, I now know why.
We stick our dick in their wives all the time. We don't need to do that. We have our own wife. Why are we fucking everybody else's wife, dude? Like,
because we're American, we think we can, right?
That's exactly right. So, like, my point being is, like, I loved some of the classic presidents, like Teddy Roosevelt. I think FDR was a good guy. He was a little too progressive for me. But, like, Teddy Roosevelt, you know, obviously Abe Lincoln, fucking Ulysses S. Grant, all these guys. I like Donald Trump. I like Ronald Reagan. You know, I thought Obama was the best statesman and best spokesperson we ever had. I don't necessarily agree with his politicians, but I will tell you, America was pretty fucking safe under Obama.
Yes.
I mean, we weren't fucking, you know, we weren't sticking our nuts in fucking Taiwan and Ukraine, right? And all these places and all this shit that we shouldn't be in. But my point being, dude, is like, nobody benefits from this but the politicians, but the rich of the rich. The common man like you and I are struggling. Like, I make over 6 figures and we're still struggling.
Oh, yeah.
People that I know make millions of dollars are struggling. Why is that, dude? That shouldn't be how it is, dude. When I was a little kid, if you told me I was going to make $100,000 in my 20s, dude, I wouldn't believe you. Because that's a huge amount of money.
Yeah.
But how much do you take home?
Not that. You're not pocketing that.
Yeah, not much.
I mean, the governments get majority of it.
After you're taxed 150 different ways, you're taxed on your income, you're taxed on your property, you're taxed on your sales tax, you're taxed on all these other things. It's a shame, dude. Because there's people out there that are unincentivized, or de-incentivized, whatever the fucking word is, right? They're de-incentivized to do these things that would make groundbreaking changes for our population. But why would they? Because you're just going to get fucked.
Yep. It's like making it, I mean, just like we were talking about patents, about the light bulbs and all that. It's
fuck Thomas
you can be a small person and have a great idea, but most of the time it's not going to get taken by a bigger person. Someone bigger is going to take it. I met a person, and I don't agree with his philosophy. He's a Canadian, but he was smart. He says that a lot of those people that are rich, that are billionaires, took from people that were under them, that made less or that were less than them.
That sounds like a very socialistic idea.
I don't agree with everything that he says, but a lot of stuff we've gotten has been taken. I mean, but not everything. So I'm not saying all the people.
I think there has to be smaller cogs in the machine to make it work. But the real benefit of like capitalism, how our company and society works. When I'm ever over somebody, and I've been in executive positions myself, when I'm over somebody, it's never like hey, how can I milk this person dry? It's always like how the fuck can I develop this person to where in 5 years he's taking my job and I'm taking my boss's job and my boss is taking their job. It needs to be a progressive like this. It doesn't need to be, you know. That's what I'm saying. Like, so I get what he's saying, and I can understand where he's coming from.
That's what I'm saying. But not everything is taken.
But have you ever watched that video of like how much it would take to make a chicken sandwich if you didn't have capitalism?
No, I've not watched that.
It'd be $1,200 to make a chicken sandwich.
Oh wow!
But the reason why it's $6 at Arby's or wherever the fuck you go is because there's so many different industries that have people like that. They have a CEO, okay. Mm-hmm. And the reason why that's the way, Derek, in my opinion, is that the CEO takes all the risk, right? These low-level employees, like, they might be making a significant amount of money less, but, like, if the company folds, they just go get another job.
Yeah, their job.
If the company folds, that CEO is done.
They're to blame. I mean, they're the one that's in charge.
And that CEO has a family to feed for. Well, what happens now? Now he can't feed his family. That low-line employee, although they might be making pennies on the dollar in relation,
if there's no risk for it.
There's no risk for it.
I mean, they can mess up they mess up all the people in McDonald's. They mess up all the orders. They're not going to get fired for messing up a burger or anything. No. But a CEO's going to get fired for input or for mismanaging numbers.
Yeah, because the numbers are bad.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, dude, and especially a publicly traded company like that.
And you know how hard it is to find a job after you get fired? First of all, it's a big public. Everyone knows.
Yeah.
If you're working for a big Fortune 500 company and you fuck up.
And you shit the bed?
Everyone knows.
You'll never get hired anywhere else again.
You're getting hired at a small mom and pop shop to manage, man.
Do you remember the Bud Light fiasco that happened earlier this year?
Oh yeah, Dylan. What's his face?
Well, Dylan Mulvaney was the spokesperson. But like the marketing manager that did that.
Oh yeah,
dude. You think she's getting a fucking job anywhere?
I thought that she wasn't able to get fired because
she had to step down, which was basically a forced step down.
But if she got fired, then she would have had legal cause to go after Bud Light for
right. But she was forced to step down, and I'm sure they gave her a severance with a nice stock package.
Oh, she was paid out very well.
Yeah, for sure.
But she's not going to get hired on anymore.
No, she's never going to be maybe a progressive company.
But she was wanting to change something. She was wanting to make a name for herself. And I feel like that's what she did.
Well, she fucked up because Dude,
she was the first CEO or
woman, director of marketing or whatever it was, which is cool. That's a huge feat.
That's awesome. I was just for that. But then when you shit the bed and did that,
I have a lot of buddies that work at the brewery downtown, and they told me their hours have been cut. Her decisions didn't fuck her really. I mean, okay, she lost her job, whatever. Dude, it fucked the low-line people that are making $60,000 a year that are doing the bottling or the brewing or the fucking tour guides.
The people that are very against that all that shit. They refuse to buy Bud Light because of that issue. It didn't hurt the CEO. The CEO doesn't have to care about the money. I mean, it hurts the underlining people. They're not selling bottles.
Well, yeah, because
they're not selling
CEO,
much. When
a company does bad, Derek, the CEO doesn't take less of a bonus.
No.
He lays off 20,000 employees.
He's still getting all his money.
Oh yeah, the CEO or CEO or CEO, whatever you want to call it. They still get their $40 million bonus. They still get their stock option. They still get XYZ. But the low-level employee who's trying to get an extra couple hours in because he needs Christmas money, well, that guy doesn't get it.
And that's what a lot of those people that were against Bud Light, that damage, it hurt a lot of families when they did that.
Yeah, but it's not their fault though. It's not the common man's fault. It's not the consumer's fault. It's the person for pissing off the clientele.
But I personally, what's it's not like it changed the flavor of the beer or anything. It's not like I drink religiously Bud Light. I'm a Modelo fan. But
let me ask you this: I'm a T-shirt maker. I make T-shirts for a living. You love my T-shirts, right? I tell you that with every box of T-shirts I sell, we murder one cow for no reason. It's legal, but we murder one cow for no reason. Would you still want my T-shirts?
I think you're comparing. That's an extreme comparison.
Okay, what would be a less one, right?
How
about this? Every box of T-shirts you buy, I personally spit on one of the T-shirts.
No, you wouldn't want to buy a T-shirt from me.
That's my point. Or how about this now, right? So they didn't change the flavor of the beer or anything, but it's what the message, or
I understand. Let me do it better. I understand the message. I understand that.
I'm a T-shirt company. For every $100 that we make, I give $5 to the Taliban.
I understand that. But if you're a Bud Light fan, I mean, if we're a Bud Light fan, it's not like why would you just change your beer just because of that?
Because if people don't necessarily agree, with what the
but it's not hurting the company in the big thing. It's hurting the smaller people. That's the issue that's causing that's making it for me.
That's the shitty part about it.
That's why I don't get why these people. They're most of the time they're the small people. So they're the ones hurting themselves,
but it worked though.
Their families.
It worked though because they've changed their complete marketing strategy, right? So it did hurt the people at the top.
That's
why. Unfortunately, if you hurt the people at the top, you hurt the people at the bottom.
Yeah,
it's really shitty, and it's not fair.
That's why I saw the pain. I was like, man, that sucks. It's hurting little
obviously,
people.
I still buy fucking AB products. Bud Zero is fucking sweet. I don't drink, but I love their alcoholic beers. It's fucking awesome. But I get what you're saying, dude. Some people I know who are religious, Busch Light drinkers, they switched to Yingling because Yingling didn't do anything like that. I mean, I get it. I get both sides of it, dude. But my whole point being, I've been in the marketing world for 10 years, right? Almost, dude. If I have a fucking product that 80% of my demographic are blue collar guys, frat boys, people who don't necessarily agree with whatever that is, I'm not going to piss off my demographic of people who buy it. Why would you do that? That's like saying, that's like Coca-Cola coming out and like, hey, everybody who drinks Coca-Cola, this is their commercial. Everybody who drinks Coca-Cola is a fucking idiot. Well, they would never do that.
I mean, the CEO, she was wanting a new demographic. I mean, I don't know if it opened up the whole demographic that they were trying to hit.
I don't know.
No one's going to make you drink beer. It's either you like beer or you don't like beer, right?
Yeah. And those who like beer, they typically are loyal to that one brand.
Yes.
I have a good buddy of mine. We started drinking we were poor in college, obviously.
Rolling Rock.
Started drinking Rolling Rock because it was fucking $9 for a 30 rack. And dude, to this day, loves Rolling Rock. He will go, when we go to a bar.
It's like when people order Paps at bars.
Oh, fuck. It's the same deal. It's the same deal.
I don't know how people
Listen,
do
dude,
that.
when I drink, I was a premium beer guy. I liked my Blue Moons. I liked my fucking Mingle Cards. I liked my Shock Tops. I liked the wheat, citrusy, premium beers that I'm paying $8 for, whatever, right? I was never, like, I would never go to a bar and be like, hey, dude, you got Natty Light on draft?
Yeah.
Natty's great, but, like, still, it's a beer that you drink on the river.
Yes, when you're just trying not to get too drunk or
when
too
you
heavy.
have a choice, nobody's picking Natty.
Yeah, if you have money, you're not picking it. I mean,
no, dude, you're picking a fucking nice stout or.
When I was broke living in Wyoming, I was drinking Camo Blacks. And
yeah.
I remember those were like 8% alcohol, big freaking malt liquor.
Yeah,
it would get you drunk. All I had was one, but when it got warm, it was thick.
Well, in high school, dude, I can't tell you how many Four Locos I drank, dude.
Oh.
$1.50 for them, and you drink two, and you're obliterated.
And it was probably the old school recipe too.
Oh yeah, where people were dying from it. I'll never forget, man. I drank 2 Four Locos in an hour one time, and I thought I was gonna have a heart attack. My heart was just beating out of my chest. I felt so sick.
The last time you probably did that.
Last time I drank one, yeah, it was probably 2012, dude. A long time ago, 11 years ago. But yeah, I don't know, dude. I mean, and it, at the end of the day, here's my whole philosophy on it, man. Like, we're talking all this stuff here, like we own the fucking world, we make decisions. Nothing that me and you do on the grand scheme of things really matter.
Not yet. Nate, I feel like if we try hard enough, you're smart. There's a lot of people that listen to you. I mean,
I don't know, man. Maybe not.
I listen to you. I mean, I come if I need advice, I come to you. You know that I've come to you for advice.
And I really appreciate that. I mean, anytime I can ever throw my 2 cents in, I'm not always saying it's guaranteed insurance proof advice, but
my grandpa, I've always lived by this philosophy: a smart man knows what he doesn't know.
That's very true.
If you're afraid to ask questions and you just sit there and cower, you're never gonna learn shit.
I've always believed too that if you're the smartest man in the room, you need to get the fuck out.
Yeah, and yeah,
because you're not learning anything.
No, you're not, and you tend to have a lot of followers that leeches. I would say not followers.
For sure.
Followers are different. Those are people that support it. Leeches that just want to suck everything. They're succubuses. And
fucking, don't even say that word around me because I have nightmares about that. I'm not kidding. I had a succubus experience. I'm not kidding.
Oh man,
I'm not kidding. It was fucking terrifying.
All right, well,
I don't know if you're religious and believe in the paranormal and shit, dude, but I had a succubus experience one time. Fucking terrifying.
What happened?
I don't even want to talk about it, dude, because I'm scared she'll come
back. I don't know.
Dude.
I think this might be good for the pod.
All right. So check this out, dude. Fuck me. So when we bought this house, okay, probably like 2 years ago. We bought this house almost 3 years ago. So like 2 years ago or so, we was upstairs in our bedroom, whatever, and like for like every fucking night, at the same time, 3:36 in the morning, I would wake up, and I get sleep paralysis all the time. Okay.
Oh no.
My sleep paralysis though is normally I'm just like stuck like this, and then I twist my body away. You ever had sleep paralysis?
No. I've heard it's scary.
Dude, it's the most fucking terrifying thing in the world. Dude.
I'm a big fan of podcasts and listening to those scary stories
wild.
of.
So,
oh, dude.
There's you've done psychedelics before, right?
Yeah.
So I've never done psychedelics because I'm afraid that I would just like totally lose my consciousness. But I hear when people do psychedelics, they typically see the same figures. Okay, it's like a common trend. When people have sleep paralysis, they see the same figures. It's like a dark. The figure is a dark, shadowy something in the corner. You get real hot. It's really, really uncomfortable, right? So I don't always have that, but sometimes I do. Well, let me tell you this. I've been having sleep paralysis my whole life, and when I sleep on my back, it happens. When I sleep on my side or my stomach, it doesn't happen. When I sleep on my back, I think my spine aligns, and I think fluid enters, like fluid that might be pinched up when I'm leaning or something like that or laying on my side. I think the spinal fluid is released, and it makes that happen for whatever reason, or maybe like I'm in such a deep sleep, whatever. I don't know.
Done the sleep study?
No, I need to though. I really need to because I think I have sleep apnea too. But anyways, so I wake up and I'm sleep paralysis, like I'm paralyzed in my sleep form, and I look over like this, 3:36. Happened 3 nights in a row. Okay, on the third night, a black figure. It was a woman with black long hair, pale face. Like flew up to me quickly. Like I'm talking about like from the corner of my room to my face in a quarter of a second, and screamed loud as fuck. Like hurt my ears. Screamed. Okay, and I was just there.
Was Celeste?
Paralyzed. Celeste was asleep next to me. Yeah.
Oh man.
And dogs were in the bed too. Very weird. Or maybe the dogs weren't in the bed at that time. Maybe they were. I don't know. But anyways, so that happened. Okay. Next night, I don't think about it the first night. Whatever. Same thing happens. Woman comes out the corner, quick as fuck, screams in my fucking face. Okay. Terrifying.
I couldn't imagine,
Terrifying.
bro.
So I'm sitting there, I'm fucking panicking and wake up, whatever. Okay. Next night, I remembered it. And I'm fucking thinking, fuck, man, I was so crazy last night. I hope it doesn't happen again. Third night in a row. Happens. Boom. In my face. Screams. As loud as I fucking... Like, I mean, dude, like, my ears were ringing. It was that loud. Like, you ever shot a gun without headphones on? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like, I shot a 357 one time without headphones. Worst fucking mistake I've ever
Never
made.
gonna do it again, right?
No. Never, dude. But, like, screamed in my fucking face, right? And so I got pissed off at this point. I wasn't even scared. I was just pissed. I was like, whatever this fucking thing is, dude, like, it's lucky that I'm fucking paralyzed.
I'm surprised you didn't try to pull your gun out or
dude,
shoot it.
I was paralyzed, so I couldn't do nothing, right? So I was like, this motherfucking thing, dude. So I started doing some research about what it is. And when I came to a determination was like, it was a succubus. And I was like, what the fuck? I don't know where this came from. I don't know what happened. So they said, like, oh, maybe you have an item that's possessed or something. I was like, well, we didn't add anything new to the house, anything weird, anything old, anything historic. So they said, you know, it could just happen. You could just bring it in from bad energy.
Oh,
right?
wow.
So I was like, maybe I brought it in from bad energy or something, dude. So, like, that happened a couple more times. But, like, it started happening, too, where, like, I wouldn't have sleep paralysis, like, when I was going to bed. Like, you know how like, you're in a, like, twilight stage before you, like, fall asleep fully? It would happen then. And my eyes would be closed like this. I'd lay on my side. But all of a sudden, I would just hear, like, a whoosh and then just a scream in my fucking ear.
Were you still paralyzed?
No, not at that moment. No. So I would like look up, like get up like this, fucking breathing heavy, pissed off, scared, and nothing would be there, right? So like, dude, I don't know, and I fucking hope, I swear to God, Derek, if talking about it brought it back, I'll beat your ass. But like, I swear to God, dude.
I was about this. My next question was, how'd you get rid of this?
I don't know. It went
Did you
away.
bring a priest in here? Or
No,
like
it went away.
Exercise
his
his house?
After like 3 or 4 days, it just went away. And it hasn't been back since.
Hopefully she just got tired of screaming in your ear. You didn't react enough.
Well, like I wasn't like really, like the first couple times I was scared, okay? And then the last couple times I'm just like, this
Annoyed.
bitch. I'm like, I'm gonna kill this bitch.
You wish you could just
Like,
strangle her.
I was like, dude, I'm gonna lose my mind. Because like my sleep quality was terrible. It was just more annoying. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like I've had some friends who have lived in like haunted houses and they're like, you know, shit will fly off the walls and like first it scared them and now they're like, hey dude, that was my new fucking cup. Can you not fucking do that? Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
I've been in houses like that.
Yeah.
Where doors randomly shut and it's like, come on now, my hands are full, or why are you doing this to me? I'm the only one in this house.
My buddy Nick Sikorsky, his wife, she lived in a house in the city that was really haunted. He said they stayed down there and like all the knives like came out of the drawer one time and like just pointed up in the floor and like there'd be loud noises and bangs and fucking creaks and all this shit. I was like, dude, at what point do you just like sit down with some candles and like, dude, can we just figure this out?
So do you believe in that stuff?
And what?
And the whole seances and
I think they're real. I would never
being able to communicate with.
Yeah, I definitely do.
So you would never go to like a haunted, like actual like Limp Mansion.
I've been to Limp Mansion 1,000 times.
But like actually trying to conjure them, or
no, I would never conjure because in my religion and my faith, I believe that's an ultimate sin.
Really?
I believe that the relationship between humans and death is sacred and it doesn't need to be fucked with and played with like a toy. And I believe when you conjure,
do you think it's actually playing with it, or like some people are trying to find out answers, or like trying to get closures for their? Is that playing with it still? If you're trying to do it for a loved one,
maybe their intention is not trying to do that, but what they're doing is that they're still opening a portal, right? They're still opening a void door to another world, and I don't think that's right. I think that when you leave this world spiritually, you're not destined to be back.
Okay? Some say that Halloween, that's when that portal opens up. right?
No, Halloween's a pagan holiday.
I know, but they say that's when the portals to the afterlife, that spooky world, that's when the dimensions the weakest.
Halloween was not always celebrated on October 31st.
No.
Neither was the same with Christmas, right? Christmas was to be celebrated because Jesus was born in July. Okay? So, but like my point being is like all these pagan holidays with the occult and all this crazy shit. Like, and I'm going to sound probably like a fucking nut here. So I don't, actually I don't give a fuck if you people care about it or not. But my opinion really is like I believe that death is sacred in that regard in my relationship with God. And like whenever you leave your body spiritually, you cross a path that you don't need to come back with, man. And a lot of people out there, they do go see gypsies or whatever you want to call them, tarot card readers or seances, or we get a Ouija board and play with it. Psychics even, yeah, man. And like I believe that shit is very, very real. But I believe that when you do that, you're inviting, let's say, well, yeah, because you open a door, right? Let's say you open that door. You don't know what's in that room, dude. Your loved one could be in that room and you could totally communicate with them. But who's to say fucking
could be a bad spirit.
Beelzebub, the fucking demon god of torture, is not right next to him. Like, you don't know, dude. And like, my point being is I think the way that God has it is you're not supposed to venture into that world. You're supposed to just experience it yourself when you go. And that's why I believe in the occult stuff a lot. I think it's very, very real. And I think humans do possess the capability to communicate with the dead. But I don't think we should. I mean...
Interesting.
It's like, in my opinion, dude, like, if I fucking turn my oven on and I put my hand in there and I touch the stove, I'm going to burn my fucking hand. I know it's hot, dude. I shouldn't touch it. I have the ability to. I can touch my stove all day. It's my fucking stove. But, like, I shouldn't do it, man. And I just think there's a sacred... I have kind of unique views on religion. I'm a Catholic guy myself. Like, I have my own views. I don't believe you need to go to church. I believe your relationship with God can be personal. And I think it should be personal. I don't believe in giving my money to somebody who's going to do whatever the fuck with it. I think God looks past money, and it's not tangible to him, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
I think, helping people, strengthening people up, kind of leading them the right way, and having good intentions in your heart is probably the best way to live your life. And that's kind of what I try to do.
That's what I feel like with religion. I mean, I've never been a religious person, more spiritual, because I feel like you should treat others with respect.
It's the same thing. There's no label.
It's how you want to be treated.
It's like I like playing basketball, but I've never been on a real team. It's the same concept. You still practice it, but you're just not a part of a team.
Yeah, but I feel like some people it's a need for their religion because some people use it as I'm better than you type
status.
Stuff.
Yeah. Well, some
and
people
and I feel like that you shouldn't need a religion to be better, to be a better person to anyone else. But I am a big believer that it helps people, give them a stepping stone to start.
It definitely can.
But then people can go over the top and become way too much. I mean, I went to private school.
So did I.
So getting it shoved down my throat a little bit, being non-religious, it's like, yeah, I don't feel like I need this to make me a better person. Or like, I don't believe I'm sinning because I'm cursing or I'm drinking because I'm partying underage. I'm not sinning. I'm doing what everyone. I'm living my life. Why should someone want to judge me on that?
Yeah, you know what?
That's my thing.
There's a fine line though, right? Like there's certain aspects where I don't believe there's sins. Like for example, like some of the silly things that the church might think is a deep sin, like you said, cursing and things like that. I think God has bigger fish to fry.
Yeah,
opinion, right? Like
killing. Maybe people are killing each other.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean these genocides, man. Ukraine, Russia. You think? I mean, there's a bigger fish. Yeah, it's like you said.
And I think God too. Like in my view, God knows everything we're going to do before we do it. And I think He understands, right? So like, for example, I think God puts us all in journeys where we're all supposed to be growing at His determined rate. Like for example, you always see like with drug addicts, right? Both my parents are drug addicts. And, like, no matter how hard I tried, no matter how many times I cried, no matter how much money I offered them in my 20s, now, they never would change unless they want to, right?
Yeah.
So I think we're all on this predetermined path that God already has laid out for us. That's why, you can never make somebody to do something if they don't want to do it, man, because it's not the time for them to do it.
You can only guide them. You can only give them suggestions. You can only try to help.
But if it's not the time for them to do it, man, on that path, then so be it.
And if you force someone, it's like trying to put someone in
pulling teeth, dude.
It's like trying to put someone in rehab. If they don't want to go, if they don't want to get clean, you're not done to do it. You're done to push them away. You're gonna make them hate you. Yeah.
Like nobody's ever been forced into rehab and been like thankful for it.
No.
Like it's always like, hey, they went to rehab, they were forced, they came out, they were clean for a little bit, relapsed, now they're dead because they OD'd or whatever the fuck. But like I said, man, like I don't really judge people on their religious beliefs, right? I only judge atheists. And the reason why I judge atheists is like, dude, if you are so arrogant that you think that after we die, it's just it. I judge them based on their intelligence. I'm like, really? Like, you think all this was by chance? You think all this, like, humans are the only species that have intuition, right?
Yeah.
Like, I get gut feelings all the time about certain things. I get gut feelings about things that are bad. I get gut feelings about things that are good. Like, when I married Celeste, I had the most overwhelming gut. I mean, you saw me on the altar.
Yeah.
I had the most overwhelming gut feeling of just love and peace and tranquil and happiness that I've never experienced in my life. And we've been together a long fucking time, right? There's been certain situations where, like, I've walked into, and I'm not special. I'm not a psychic. Everybody gets this intuition. Every human has the ability for intuition.
It's just if you follow it or not. I mean, some people just ignore it.
Yeah, some people ignore it. You know, like, hey, sometimes that can work out, sometimes that can't. But, like, people get gut intuitions, and we're the only species that has that, right? Why is that, right? Why are we the only species that have gut intuition? It's crazy to me. Like, people can sense when, you know, not me. I haven't really been in any unique situations, but, like, people can sense when bad shit's gonna happen. They get the vibe. They feel the frequency. They feel the vibe. And, like, I think the real thing is, like, people say vibe as in vibrations. Frequency and vibrations is a real fucking thing.
Oh, yeah.
Like, if you go into a room and everybody's fucking mad, you're going to get mad.
I felt that way, like, in that London situation. I mean,
yeah, you knew.
You
were looking the other way, and you felt the frequency and the vibrations hitting you from the back. Dude, you know, dude. Yeah. You fucking know.
I've been in situations where... I've been in situations where I've been prepared and I've still been drunk, and it's like, could I have done something better? Should I have done something more? It's like, no, I mean, you've done all you could, but
yeah, what do you get? Sometimes out of your hands, right?
Yeah, but you were prepared. I mean, sure. I've never been in a situation where I haven't been.
The best thing to be in life is prepared. And to have a plan,
I'd rather be over prepared than what's that saying?
I'll say it for you. I'd rather be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war.
There we go. That's I like that one.
It's true though, because, like, you know, being prepared, having that plan, it's a huge thing.
Yeah.
You know, the real caveat for me, man, and like I said, I'll touch on God one more little time here, dude. Is like the only thing that bothers me about atheists, once again, is like, dude, really, there's lights out. Is that really what people think? Like, is that really what you thought? Like, imagine living your whole life, and life is miserable. Okay. There's a lot of good parts in life, but I would say probably 65-70% of people's lives is miserable.
Oh, yeah.
It's pain, it's suffering, it's defeat, it's fucking disappointment. And that's just part of the thing, dude. That's just what makes us human, is dealing with that pain, right? Because for every hour of pain is worth, you know, for every hour of love is worth a year of pain, in my opinion, because love is so much better than that, right? Mm-hmm. So when atheists think, like, dude, life is going to suck ass the whole time and then you just die, lights out, that's it. It's really sad to me. Like, you're looking forward to nothing. Like, when I die, I'm looking forward to going to whatever paradise, you know, whatever heaven that is, right? And being able to understand what this all was about. That's what I look forward to. I don't look forward to, like, fucking golden houses and having a bowling alley in my backyard and whatever. I don't know my interpretation of heaven or hell, right? But I do know that whenever I die, I'm expecting some answers. And I'm not demanding. I'm just expecting that whenever we go, we get to figure out what this is all about, dude. You know? And that's kind of my belief. Like, all of our questions, all of our concerns, because nothing matters then, right? Mm. But we're able to figure out, like, what the meaning of all this was and what the purpose is. I believe that humans are on this earth for two reasons. One, to reproduce. And two, to better your gene pool. And what I mean that by is, you know, you make something in life that's going to better society. So, for example, we talked about vaccines earlier, right? The guy that created, I don't remember his name, and that's such a shame because I should, but the guy that created the smallpox vaccine, okay? That guy saved hundreds of millions of lives. If he reproduced and he did that, his mission's complete, in my opinion. He's good. He's good, right? Mm-hmm. The guy that invented, fucking Henry Ford, right? Inventing cars. They've done a lot of damage. A lot of people died from them, whatever, but that was a significant, valuable technology innovation that he created. Yeah. He bettered his gene pool. He helped transportation and you know, allowed people to travel better, right? I know he had kids. Boom. He's good to go. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, like, if you do things like that, it doesn't have to be on that macro of a scale, right? But, like, if you were a guy in a small community and you started a community garden that now feeds half the population, right? That's a small micro scale. But it means a lot to everybody around you. And you have kids, you've reproduced, boom, you're good. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I always try to believe in that aspect where you have kids and you better your gene pool somehow.
I feel like we're getting further and further away from that now.
Well, we are. Absolutely. Because nobody cares.
it's a social aspect. It's the social media, and that's a yeah.
Yeah, dude. Nobody cares.
And it's going to continue to get worse. I mean,
well, there's going to be once again. I don't know how you are religiously, but like I believe our shot clocks start, man.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm very self-reliant. I believe that we're going to go through a large period of trial and tribulation. The world's going to be shit. A lot of us are going to die. And that's just what it is.
I'm prepared to live off grid. I'm prepared to...
Well, you are, yeah. your family's got a good setup down there. But, like, I've got some means that keep us safe here, and I'm not really concerned. We have a good food supply. We have water supply.
And you can always join us down in DeSoto, too.
Well, I'd bring a lot of skill sets down there.
Oh, yeah.
I'd bring a lot of firearms, too.
Oh, yeah.
But
we have all the animals out there, the deer, turkeys.
Oh, dude.
We have bison right across the street. We have bison.
That is true.
You know about that. We have the bison farm right across the street.
Man, I almost sometimes, I hate to sound like cynical saying this, dude, I sometimes wish for an apocalyptic situation because you tell me I don't.
The strong will survive.
Well, I don't have to go to work anymore. I don't have to deal with traffic anymore. Now it's just pure survival. I can focus all day on hunting and fishing and providing. That's what humans are meant to do. Humans are not meant, and I work in IT as well, as so does you, and I'm in sales. Dude, humans are not supposed to sit in front of a fucking screen all day, dude. We're supposed to be out there connected with our surroundings. We're supposed to be in a tribe of 100 to 300 people. Everybody provides a role.
Have you heard of the Blue? It's a thing called the Blue Zone. It's called the Blue Zone Project.
No.
I think it's Blue Zone or Green Zone. It's where people, their average lifespan is 100 plus. Because there's 5 or 6 places on the earth that people live, their average lifespan is 100 plus years old.
Oh, I have heard this before.
Because their everyday lifestyle,
it's survival.
In order to get food, you got to hunt for it. In order to get water, you got to walk to the well, walk to the stream, you're walking the back.
Right.
Their lifestyle is included in their everyday, life. And that's, we're getting so far away from that. We're sitting behind computers for 8, 10 hours a day.
We're on our phones.
We're getting McDonald's, fast food.
Delivered to us.
People are, there are people nowadays, we have more people working from home nowadays. And they're even more lazy. It's you don't even have to leave your house to do anything now.
Yeah.
They work, they order their food to their house, and then they go to sleep. They do the same thing day after day.
Dude, I've worked from home for the last 3 years, and I will tell you, I have always found a project or a hobby to do. I just can't, I can't sit here and just do nothing. I can't sit here in front of a screen all day and do it. I can't do it, man.
Dude, your forge. You just opened up a forge. What made you want to start forging? What made you want to become a blacksmith? That.
Don't even call me a blacksmith because I'm at the.
I said become a blacksmith.
This is gonna be a long process, but
my neighbor will be happy to teach you.
I can't wait to meet him, dude.
You guys gotta come out and visit.
Make an introduction, dude.
You guys gotta come out and visit the property before all that stuff, all right?
But I will be his greatest student, man, because I will learn so much. I don't know if his greatest student, but I will be a very inquisitive student because I love to learn. But for me, man, it just goes to the same deal of why I got chickens, why I got a couple firearm certifications, why I started to learn how to plant and build things, and all these things. Dude, I am preparing for shit to hit the fan, and when shit hits the fan, it's gonna be the people that have those skill sets. One, I've always wanted to do blacksmithing. I've always thought it was really fucking cool. So a byproduct. I enjoy it, right? But it's the ability to go out there and be able to if I needed something, if I needed it, if shit hits the fan, dude, and I need a knife. Okay, I'm using a propane forge now while I'm learning because it's easier. I completely plan to switch to a charcoal forge, and the reason why is that if shit hits the fan, propane's not going to be everywhere.
Yeah.
Right? I might get lucky, right, and find some tanks, whatever, but it's not going to be sustainable. Charcoal you can make, right, and you can find. Charcoal is an abundant resource that's charred wood. Here's some charcoal right here, right? It's dried out and added a couple things, and so my point being is if shit hits the fan and we needed a knife or we needed an axe head or we needed anything, my buddy is bringing me up a fucking lead molder. He's got 30 pounds of lead, and he's got these molds for these fucking fishing weights. I'm gonna learn how to make my own fishing weights, dude. That is crazy. I would have never thought. I've been fishing my whole life. I would have never have thought that.
Well, when you get more advanced in the blacksmithing, that's when you'll be able to start milling out your own guns and be able to. Don't
say that on the podcast. Oh. You're so right. Because the same caster that does the lead, does brass.
Mm-hmm. I know. And I know a few people that actually can do that.
Dude, I have a friend of mine who has a reloading press.
I'm talking about he's a blacksmith with
he makes the bullet tips and everything.
He does do all that, but he can also do gun work,
a gunsmith.
Everything with the guns.
Dude, I'm telling you right now, shit hits the fan. Being a gunsmith is gonna be that's gonna be the billionaire fucking
Dude,
job.
I mean, that's no kidding.
So my plan though, like my kind of situation now, like before I get to that level, there's 30 guns in this house, dude. Like, we're not gonna have an issue with all. You know, if one breaks, okay, we roll a dice and see which one we use now, right? Like, it's not it's a lot easier in that regard whenever you have those resources like that. But like once again, it's always been for me, like I've always been just kind of preparing, right? You know, and I could be wrong, right? Like people have always said, oh, it's end times, whatever. I don't know, man. Like me personally, my beliefs, like the world's really messed up right now, and there's a lot of things that we've already prophesized that are happening. And, you know, I don't know, whoever's religious out there, man, believe whatever you want to believe in. I don't care, man. But all I'm trying to say is, like, this world is not getting better. Be able to provide for your family. Be able to protect your family. Be able to protect yourself. And learn a trade or two, man. It's not the end of the world for you to learn something that could be beneficial.
I mean, it makes you useful to society.
To someone.
I mean, even if it's just for yourself, man. Doing a hobby, picking up that trade. I mean, even if you don't have to use that skill, when you get older, you'll be able to do that when you're fishing, retired, or like, I mean, it's just
for sure. Even fishing though, right? So like, I love fishing. I'm not the best fisherman out there, but I love fishing, dude. If shit hit the fan, you best believe I could catch fish for my family. Oh yeah, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Like, as long as there's a supply of fish, like. I have enough poles. I have enough rigs. I have enough everything. I know the knowledge. And even if I had just string, even if I just had string, a stick, and a fucking hook. That's
how it started.
And guess what? I'm learning blacksmithing. Guess what I can make? The hooks.
Yep.
And the weight. So it's all about that, man. It's just,
I mean, even without fishing pole, there's those survivalists that I follow this guy on Facebook. And he's called Will Survive.
I know who he is.
He's a kid younger than us.
Yeah.
His first house that he built, he got kicked out of the land because it was private land. But he lives in a cabin. He built it by hand. Stays the whole winter there. I mean, this kid's doing stuff that we've forgotten about. Our ancestors used to do this.
I watched a video the other day. He asked like how much money he spends a year. He was like, "Oh, I spend about $1,200 a year."
That's ridiculous. I mean, if you could spend $1,200 a year. You can almost retire.
Dude, I spent $1,200 last week.
I'm about to say, like, you got wedding, you got married not too long ago either. So
$1,200. But yeah, I mean, you're right. But like, no, my point being is like, dude, there's something unique, and maybe not everybody feels this way, and like that's okay too. But like, there's something special and there's something unique about, like, I hunt a lot, so I'm going hunting the next 2 weekends, right? So. I've hunted a shit ton this year so far. This is actually the most year I've ever got to hunt, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
I haven't killed anything, actually, which is kind of funny.
Just getting out in the woods.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, just being out there and being in the woods, we're so connected to the woods and the forest. And, like, I should say the forest, but like, we're so connected to nature as a whole because there's people that live in tropical situations, there's people that live in desert situations, and they still feel the same thing that I feel when I'm in the woods, dude. Like, it's something... There's something that roots us there, man. There's something connecting there.
The sound, the music of Mother Nature.
The scent, the feeling.
The seeing the trees, this breathe, this move. I mean, when you're in a tree stand with the snow coming down, you're shivering your ass off, you got icicles in your beard. Swaying in that tree, there's no better feeling.
You talked about earlier about finding yourself.
Oh, dude.
Let me tell you right now, dude, when you're in a fucking tree stand and it's 15 degrees outside and you're freezing your nuts off, you're finding out a lot about yourself, dude. You're finding out how much grit you have.
Dude,
you're finding out, because like everything and nothing matters at the same time there.
The only reason why you're out there is for yourself. You have nothing to prove except for you're trying to get a deer. I've been in this tree stand, I'm like, why the fuck am I doing this? Why am I freezing my ass off? But then when you get a deer, if you get a deer, then that's what makes it worth it.
Every year I hate it. Every fucking year, you know what I tell myself? I love hunting. Every year I tell myself, I'm not doing this next year. I'm not doing this next year. Every fucking year I'm saying the same thing. I hate this, man.
When you're getting geared up and then
what happens, right? You hear a footstep and you're fucking, you're all over the place. You got buck fever. Your heart's out of your chest. Yeah, dude. It's the best feeling in the fucking world, man. That's why this year, though, I became a pussy and I invested in I bought a jacket and a pair of gloves that are heated.
Oh man, I don't have that yet. But I heard that those are game changers.
I'm such a bitch.
I heard that those are game changers.
I've been wanting them for years. Well, so last year, I'll tell you one quick story and then we'll wrap up. But Last year, dude, we stayed at Nick's, my best man, my best friend, Nick. We stayed at his camper, and his camper is great. His family owns 70 acres down there. We hunt there every year. His property is sweet. His dad takes very good care of it. But the camper, I think they probably had maybe a mouse get in or something. You know what happens. And the mouse started chewing on these wires. Well, dude, last year was notoriously cold.
Yeah.
It was 10 degrees.
I went out during bow season. Ryan, Dogan and I, we went out in a summer tent.
Oh, man.
In a tent, bro. We had a buddy heater in there. I'm sorry for taking the conversation.
No, you're good.
I remember rolling over because we had 3 of us in the tent. Ryan was on the far side, his buddy in the middle, and then me. I told them to put the buddy heater on their side because I didn't want to burn just in case.
Well, the story gets better. I'll tell you about that.
I freaking rolled over, and my pillow had ice on the side I was not sleeping on. And let me tell you, that was one of the worst. I'm just thinking about that, dude. It was getting cold. That was one time I regretted hunting.
So the camper we were in, normally it's heated with propane. It sucks being out there, and the tree stands are about maybe half a mile from the camper, so you got to walk there, and it's cold. You know how it is.
Yeah.
But you always look forward to, hey, I've been out here from 4 a.m. to 10 or to 11. I'm gonna go in the camper, get a meal, watch TV. We have a bunch of DVD players down there, or DVDs and DVD player. So we'll watch some dumb movie, whatever. And you get warm. Okay. Well, last year the propane went out, and there was no way to fix it, so we had to sleep in the cold. I checked the thermometer inside the camper. It was fucking 11 degrees inside the camper. I was seeing my breath. I was in a sleeping bag that was supposed to be rated till -30. Fucking biggest bullshit market lie.
Those are...
Dude, it was terrible. I was so cold. So I got a buddy heater, and I had these wool socks.
Oh!
I put my feet up against the heater, and I fell asleep. I woke up to my little brother waking me up. My feet were on fire. I'm not kidding, dude. My feet were flames.
Oh, geez.
You ever roasted a marshmallow too long?
Yeah.
It looked like that. So I was like, fuck, and I'm all this shit, whatever. My feet are now charred, and I'm still cold as shit. Next night, luckily enough, next morning I went out there. Was it the morning or the evening? I don't know. Anyways, next day I killed a buck. So I was like, hey man,
you're done.
I was like, listen, dude. I was like, I love you guys. You guys can stay here. I'm getting a hotel room. I was like, I'm not sleeping in this fucking camper in 10-degree weather. My socks, my only pair of socks, have holes in them.
Oh, Jesus, like, Nate.
It's over, man.
That's right.
I was like, I'm not doing this, right? So now I'm very excited. They invited me. Normally I only go one weekend with them down there, but now this year they invited me to go opening weekend and the following weekend. So the likelihood of seeing something is very high.
Yeah.
Very thankful for that. Shout out to Nick and your family. Love you guys. But his dad fixed the propane, so we shouldn't have any issue.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, so that's my story about being cold and fucking hunting. But anyways, despite all that, being out there, being able to look up and not see light pollution and see stars and everything, it's the best feeling ever. So if you guys haven't, get out there.
You're close to God. I mean, that's it, man.
As close as you're ever going to get.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing
separating. Until you meet him.
There's nothing separating. You're not on your phone. Like, dude, my phone, my screen time is like an hour, maybe. Because I don't have service on there anyways.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't do anything with it. You know what I mean? So like my screen time's low. We have a campfire outside. We'll sit there, hang out, drink a couple beers, whatever the guys want to do. And that's it. So.
And that's the best, dude. Deer camp's the best.
Camps.
Oh man, shout out to Ryan. I love going to deer camp with him. It's a hoot.
Yeah,
It gets a little wild though.
It is, dude. You get some funny stories though. You know what I mean?
Dude, I'm telling you, dude. Some of those times, like I remember having to shit in a porta potty out there.
Yeah, buddy.
And this was the last day. I can't hold it. I have to go. Come out of the field, and the wind was ripping us. I remember going deep into the woods to try to get out of this wind. I got out of the field. I'm like, I'm not looking over this cornfield. This is not me.
Yeah.
I go in, get in this porta potty, and shut the door, and it feels like this porta potty is about to break down. I hear goose, 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 goose. I'm like, God, man, it was the worst shit ever. But it cold, freezing seeing your breath, sitting on that cold plastic toilet. You never want to. You ever hate yourself more than when you're doing that.
Right? Why am why do I do this to myself?
My truck's right there. I can go into town. I don't have to hunt anymore. I can be warm. No,
everything in your mind is telling you to give up.
Yeah.
You know, but like when you stay out there, that's when you see it.
But it's putting the time in, and when you hear the noises, it doesn't matter if it's a squirrel or not. It's like, what is that?
It's the biggest adrenaline rush ever.
But then those squirrels get you. They're the heaviest things in the forest. Like you see them, like I don't even like weeds, man. It's crazy. They want to be right all over you, making
on top of your head.
Yeah,
dropping nuts on your head every time.
Oh, dude. I wish. There's been times where I've been out with Ryan, and Ryan's like, man, I just want to peg that squirrel right now. I want to put an arrow right through.
I can't tell you how many times I pulled my sidearm out and just aimed at you and like, you're fucking lucky, Mr. Squirrel.
Putting it through your scope of your rifle. It's like, I just hate you, man.
So funny. Well, Derek, I'll tell you what, man, we'll wrap up. This was a great conversation. I definitely think we didn't get to cover everything, but I definitely want you back soon.
Yeah, I can't wait to come back, man. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, man. I think what we need to do as well, and to those who watch as well, let me know in the comments what you think. We should go out and do a double date and record it, and do a little bit. Don't talk about anything serious in public, of course, but do a good review and eat a good meal, and make some content there. What do you think?
I'm excited. Yeah, it sounds great. I'd love to do that. I'm so super excited.
When we're done here, look up that place and see if we can get reservations.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm so down to wait.
Yeah, it might be late to call them, but I'll do it tomorrow.
Should have some online, dude.
Hopefully. All right, I will check that out. Yeah, we'll do that right before we leave.
Cool. All right, brother. Well, thanks again. Guys, if you're watching this and you made it this far, please like, subscribe, share, whatever you do on your social media platforms. It's an honor to have you as a guest, man. Finally.
Can I plug my
please,
vlog?
please. Yes.
Also, follow me on Discover with Derek. It's just on Facebook right now, but I'm going to have an Instagram soon and a TikTok.
Hell yeah, dude. He's got my endorsement. A lot of cool shit. It's already sparked some ideas in me. So if you have a significant other or you're just looking to be a little more adventurous, all over, not just St. Louis, but if you're in St. Louis, it's a little easier because you hit more hit places here, but all over the place. Check Discover with Derek. It's going to be awesome. I'm excited, and fuck yeah, dude.
I really appreciate it, man.
Yeah, man.
Thank
Likewise,
you so much.
brother. Thanks.